want to listen.
Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
Zip, don't get scared.
Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. It's a Thursday night edition. It's very impromptu because I'm a bit busy tomorrow evening. What am I doing? Not much, but I'm busy. We'll just leave it there. It's nothing important, I promise you. But that's why I'm doing the live show tonight. So tonight's live show, I have a few main topics that I want to talk about when it comes to movies, and how we typically do our live shows are I talk about the main topics of movie news that I care about, and some other stuff along the way, and then we dive into viewer questions and topics. So as per usual, get those questions, get those topics in right now, and we will get to all of those momentarily. But first, before we do anything, how about we crack open this delicious caffeinated beverage? And tonight's beverage is brought to you by Ghost Welch's Grape. Now typically, when it comes to grape-flavored sodas, I think they're utterly disgusting. But when it comes to Welch's Grape Soda, our grape energy drink, I like it. It's refreshing in a weird way. Let me take a sip of it. It's really good. I recommend it. Even if you hate grape, I recommend trying that just once in your life. And once again, how are you guys doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry I couldn't do this tomorrow night, but I figured Thursday night was just as good. So tonight's main topics I want to talk about are the first reactions to Avatar: Fire and Ash. We've only waited 30 years for this sequel, so hopefully it's good. I have a lot to say about this, and a very, very deep, dark, seedy backstory going into it, but we'll get there. And the other main topic I want to talk about tonight is the Batman 2 and some casting rumors swirling around that says Scarlett Johansson might just be in the Batman 2. But the biggest question is, who will she play? I have some theories, I have some thoughts, and we're going to dive into that. And then after those main topics, we will dive into your questions. So once again, get those questions in. Give me something good tonight. Just give me something profound. Blow my hair back. Make me feel something. Okay, so what do you say? We just dive into the main topic of tonight. And the main topic we're talking about is... not that. Who is that douchebag? Anyway, tonight's main topic is I want to talk about Avatar: Fire and Ash and the first reactions that have hit social media. Now, there is an embargo in this movie, and that embargo lifts December 16th. But up until then, you can basically give a review, if you don't call it a review, on social media. I know, it's all about semantics. Now, here's a quick backstory on Avatar: Fire and Ash. I love the first Avatar movie. I quite enjoy it. I will stand up for that movie and defend it until the end of time. I don't care if it's Ferngully meets Dances with Wolves. Okay, what's your point? I like to see big blue alien people ride dragons and other crazy shit. So once again, what's your complaint with either of those things? And then you have Avatar: The Way of Water, which I have revisited probably 5 or 6 times. I did give it a positive review, but after trying to rewatch it just this last week, I don't think the writing in that movie is very good, and the first 25 minutes of that movie are sort of bad. There's some very on-the-nose dialogue, and it really feels like Avatar 1.5. It sort of feels like half of a movie. And based on some of these early reactions, it sort of feels like you're getting that second half of that movie, except if you combine both of those things, it's like a 7-hour movie that doesn't really seem like it's going to say that much. But here's my backstory. I was invited to a press screening of Avatar: Fire and Ash this past Monday, and I had every intention of watching that movie. I was looking forward to it. Give me a huge sci-fi spectacle directed by James Cameron with a lot of CGI and blue people. I will be there day one. So what did I do? Well, my wife and I got into my car. We had snacks. We had our movie theater blanket. We had everything we needed. We were halfway there. It's a 2-hour trip. Halfway to Indianapolis, all of a sudden, a blizzard arrived. And I looked at the forecast before this was going to happen, and it didn't really justify the severity of what was coming our way. So halfway there, it started snowing just a little bit. I'm not a timid driver. I'm not afraid of anything. Okay, I'm a demon behind the wheel. You give me a time and a place, I'll be there. But halfway there, the snow started falling, and then instantaneously, 2 minutes later, you couldn't see the road anymore. And there were cars flying off the side of the road. And we were probably 10 seconds behind one car that did a 360, spun off the road 40 feet away into a ditch. They were fine. Don't worry about them. I'm sure they made it out okay. But there was probably 40 cars down the highway. So I kept driving because that's what I do. I'm like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. And my buddy, Austin Burke, who also makes YouTube videos, he was going 4 hours out of his way to go to this screening. And we called each other on the way, and I was like, dude, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm sitting still on the highway. I can't see the road. I think we should turn around. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So then I did. I had to go to the next exit, do a U-turn, and just the exit that I got off on was so icy and covered in snow. At the end of that exit, there was a stop sign. There was a semi coming from behind me. And I have very good spatial awareness. It's probably the only reason I've made it this far in life. But my point is, that semi, I could hear his brakes sliding down the exit ramp. And I was like, I have to get out of the way or he's going to hit me. So I kind of ran a red light, but I had to. And thank God I did because there's no cars coming. But he slid right to where I was parked and the light was still red. So it was time to go home after that. And we had 45 minutes on the GPS before we got home. And that took almost 2 hours because we were going 20 miles per hour. So yeah. Weather sucks. That's the detriment of living in Indiana. And that's why I did not attend my Avatar Fire and Ash screening this past Monday. That was so close, but yet so far. The gods opened up the heavens and said, not today, Flick, not today. You don't get to see those blue aliens tie their ponytails together. No, you sick pervert. You stay home. And you'll get to see it on opening night like everyone else. So let's just dive into the reactions on the movie because I didn't get to see it. Am I resentful? Maybe a little bit. But let's see what everyone else who did see the movie has to say about it. And if you did see Fire and Ash early, please share your thoughts down below as well. Okay, so Avatar Fire and Ash might be the most epic theater experience since Return of the King. Cameron outdoes himself with jaw-dropping visuals, audacious action, and a third act that pins you to your seat and dares you to blink. Amid the spectacle, it still got a few tears out of me. Whoa, Jack quite enjoyed the movie. Okay, let's see. The next one comes from Avatar and Fire and Ash is a gorgeous spectacle, the most memorable and emotional narrative of the three films. Repetitive beats and rushed finale aside, James Cameron delivers on the thrills and gets freakier with visuals. Una Chaplin is stellar and should have been in it more. There's a shot in Avatar Fire and Ash that legitimately made me swoon and put my hand over my heart. James Cameron still has the sauce. All right, man. People are selling it. All right. The next one comes from Denny, who says, Avatar Fire and Ash is like reheated leftovers. Flashy, expensive leftovers, but still leftovers. Yes, billionaires are bad. Yes, they're still finding new ways to exploit nature for profit. We learn a thing or two about Pandora, and the new blue aliens in red paint are bad. Yeah, that's sort of the vibe I was picking up from the trailers. Avatar Fire and Ash post-credit scene. James Cameron is insane. Okay, no, that's a blatant lie. Let's see what else. While it struggles to juggle all of the characters and feels repetitive, Fire and Ash is still the strongest when it's interrogating Faith. When it's what are you saying, you pretentious nobody? Interrogating Faith in the face of grief. I adored it when... Oh, who cares? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Buzzwords, blue people. So here's my takeaway from this. It sort of sounds like it's more or less the same thing. And if you like the two previous installments of Avatar, you'll probably like this one. If you didn't like those two previous installments, you probably won't like this one. But the runtime of this movie is 3 hours and 17 minutes. I saw Avatar Fire and Ash, loved the newest additions to the universe. The Ash tribe are ruthless, witchy, and much more interesting threat than the never-ending greedy corporate military baddies. Plot is doing too much retreading for my taste, but the visual spectacle delivers. So it sounds like, once again, this movie, this franchise hinges on the visuals. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want a somewhat coherent story to back those visuals up and make me care. And also, when you have a 3-hour runtime, you hope deep down in your soul that love of cinema and salty, buttery popcorn, you hope that there's a story in there that matters and makes you feel something. So anyway, oh, the stream's unlisted, huh? That is not a good thing. Okay. Let's fix that. Let's fix the stream being unlisted. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I just talked for 10 minutes to 5 people, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's refresh this, make sure it's going right. Okay, there we go. That's okay. Okay, so apparently I'm incompetent and the stream was unlisted for the first 10 minutes. But we're here now. We're talking about movies. Do I want to delete the stream right now and just completely not do this tonight and just start over tomorrow? Absolutely. I lost all motivation to do this. And I'm not going to repeat what I just said about Avatar, Fire and Ash. But if you want to see what I said or hear what I said, you can just scroll back in the stream and catch it. I basically talked about all the reactions to Avatar, Fire and Ash and how it's basically a visual spectacle and how I got stuck in traffic and the weather sucked and blah, blah, blah. But nevertheless, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I really hate YouTube and how convoluted it is. You think Google, being a billion-dollar company, could pull their fucking head out of their stupid assholes and fix things and not make it so convoluted. But what do I know? Okay, let's go to the next main topic tonight. And the next main topic I want to talk about is the upcoming movie, The Batman 2. Now, it was reported, there's rumors swirling around on the internet that Scarlett Johansson has been cast in The Batman 2. Now, when it comes to Scarlett Johansson, I like me some ScarJo, but I will say, her last movie that she was in, which was a Hollywood blockbuster, sort of sucked, and that was called Jurassic Park Afterbirth. Now, let's talk about this newest rumor here, and this comes from Hollywood Reporter, who says Scarlett Johansson is in final talks to join the Batman sequel. 4 years after leaving the Marvel Cinematic Universe behind, Scarlett Johansson is headed to DC's Gotham City. And let's just be honest, let's just cut to the chase with these rumors and innuendos. The biggest rumor is they're basically going to retread the Mask of the Phantasm from the Batman animated series, which had a spin-off movie called Mask of the Phantasm, which came out in 1993. And it's considered by many a phenomenal animated Batman movie, and I've always quite enjoyed it. But the thing about that movie is you have this character named Andrea Beaumont who plays the love interest of Bruce Wayne. She was his fiancée, and she leaves Gotham, and she has a revenge story where her parents are murdered, and she just wants to seek vengeance against everyone. And unlike Batman, she's willing to kill to solidify her vengeance against those who have done wrong in Gotham City. I almost respect it. So, the rumor is Scarlett Johansson will be playing the character Andrea Beaumont from Mask of the Phantasm. And if that is in fact true, that is exciting stuff. But let's keep going down here. Sources say the actress is in final negotiations to join the Batman Part 2, the long gesturing sequel to Matt Reeves' 2021 hit. If the deal comes together, it'll be a jolt for the project, which aims to... Okay, who cares? You're trying to meet a word count in your article. It's tedious to read. I don't want to read it. But anyway, she most likely will be in the Batman 2, according to this long drawn-out article that had to hit 2,000 words or else they wouldn't get paid for the article. Now, when it comes to the Batman, I love the movie. I have a review for it. I think I gave it like an A. Solid Batman movie. I still think I prefer The Dark Knight over the Batman, but I loved what they were doing with the Batman. If you want a dark film noir Batman movie, you got it, man. It's the Batman. And that came out in 2022. Now, by the time the Batman 2 comes out in 2027, which I believe it comes out October 1st, it's going to be over 5.5 years since the Batman Part 1 came out. And 5 years in between sequels. I mean, that's nothing new. You know, when it comes to Avatar, you waited like 15 years in between sequels. So I'm sort of excited for this. And if they are going to introduce even maybe a subplot revolving around the Mask of the Phantasm with Scarlett Johansson playing the love interest and sort of being the antagonist of the story, which you also have other antagonists in the Batman universe that show up in the movie. In Mask of the Phantasm, you have the Joker as one of them. And that's really intriguing. I think there's something interesting you can do with that. I really do. Now, it's not going to be much of a twist if you know she is the Mask of the Phantasm. So, you know, I'm hoping that they don't rely too much on that masked figure, vigilante, wiping people out, chasing down Batman, because I think we're all going to know that's probably Scarlett Johansson. But if they can somehow introduce that storyline into the upcoming Batman 2 movie, that gets me excited. I think that's sort of cool. I never expected to see a live-action adaptation of Mask of the Phantasm. And I'm sure Matt Reeves, the Batman 2, will probably have a multitude of other subplots that do their own thing and go their own directions. But I still think that's really cool. So what do you guys think about Scarlett Johansson? And also, if you want to talk about Mask of the Phantasm and the comic book character, I mean, here she is here. That's Andrea Beaumont, and that's the Mask of the Phantasm right there. And if you go here, look at Scarlett Johansson. I mean, she looks the part. I mean, does that not look like animated Scarlett Johansson? like you know, kind of looks like me with a wig on. Just a little bit? Okay. But I think that's great casting. I think if ever there was a role Scarlett Johansson could play in a Batman movie, it's definitely the Mask of the Phantasm role. I think that would be really spot on casting. So that does get me excited. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's a good choice? Do you think it's the right direction? Do you want to see a live action Mask of the Phantasm? Or do you just hope at one point we finally get the Batman Part 2? Because keep in mind, Robert Pattinson's Batman is this young year 2 Batman, even though Robert Pattinson at this point is like 40-something years old. So there's that. But hey, for the sake of Batman, I can suspend my disbelief, and I just want to see the movie. I'm excited. So leave your thoughts down below. What do you think about it? All right, let's scroll back here. Hi, John. Can't stay, but I hope everything is well, my man. Well, thank you. Everything is well. Is she still married to Colin Jost? I don't know. I don't keep up with celebrity marriages, nor do I ever give a shit. Skylar Wheelock, how's it going? Would adding ScarJo change the tone and dynamic of Matt Reeves' Gotham? I don't think so. I think it could stay intact. It's just called Phantasm. I like to call it Mask of the Phantasm. Damn it. I mean, you do know, though, the movie's called Mask of the Phantasm. So what are we talking about? What are you talking about? Top Zac Efron movies. I don't know, and I don't care. You know what? Maybe Neighbors. Maybe, oh God, what was the wrestling movie that just came out a couple years ago with him in it? That was probably the best Zac Efron performance I've ever seen. What was that wrestling movie that came out a couple years ago that I can't remember the name of at all? A24 movie, Zac Efron. He took a whole bunch of human growth hormone and you could see it. But anyway, he looked great and muscular in the movie. I quite enjoyed that. All right, let's go to the next one here. I don't like these movies. Avatar movies, I love them. And by the way, guys, sorry if you guys missed the first 10 minutes of the live stream. I guess I had it unlisted because I'm just a troglodyte. But anyway, YouTube hid an option for me. I blame it on Google, okay? So the topics are there. If you scroll back to the beginning of the video, we talk all about Avatar Fire and Ash. The Iron Claw, thank you so much. Yes, that was it. Thank you, Skylar Wheelock. And El Senor Z. Nevermind Gaming says, I never saw Avatar. How did you never see Avatar? How? How have you not just watched it? It's everywhere. You should check it out. It's mildly interesting. Didn't see the live notice. Thanks a lot, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, it's a shady company who suppresses everyone. But what can you do? That's YouTube. Even though you subscribe to someone, we might not put it in your sub box. And we certainly will not recommend it. Okay, Twilight Batman. All right, let's keep going down here. What's your favorite movie poster of 2025? To be honest with you, I don't think I have a favorite movie poster of 2025. Let's see. Movie posters 2025. The Minecraft movie. That was a great poster, wasn't it? Look at that junk. Look at that junk of a movie that came out. I don't know. Sinners didn't do much. Maybe, you know what? I think the Superman poster might have been like the most iconic poster of 2025. Like, say what you will about the movie, but the poster looks kind of cool, visually speaking. It's stimulating and has cool colors to it, and Superman kind of looks like Superman flying up there. I'm looking at, Wicked. What a great poster that wasn't. Okay. My favorite poster of 2025 was Karate Kid Legends. There's nothing I like more than seeing Ralph Macchio wearing a hairpiece and Jackie Chan. Let's see. You had How to Train Your... No. I think we can all conclusively agree that Snow White is the best movie poster of the year. Snow White! No! Gal Gadot, one day, you'll learn how to act. I liked Fantastic Four quite a bit. I don't know if they had the best movie poster of the year. Did Captain America Brave New World come out last February? It did, didn't it? I forgot that movie existed. Begonia had kind of a cool movie poster. I think it was one of the more artistic movie posters of the year that sort of got my attention. First it had my curiosity, and then it had my attention. Okay. What do you say we just dive into some of the questions here? I'm still upset with myself. How dare I make this live stream unlisted? Ugh. It's always something. Let me punish myself. Stupid. Did you see Rachel Zegler in Y2K? I did. Yeah, I thought she was okay in the movie. That was a one-watch sort of comedy movie. Was Roses any good? Was going to see it, but missed it. Roses? I did not see Roses. Stuckman is a Hollywood sellout. I mean, not really a question, just more of a comment, I guess. Nevermind Gaming says the Eternity poster was cool. What was the Eternity poster? It's okay. I mean, that doesn't do much for me, but, all right, let's dive into some of the questions here. I don't want to leave you guys hanging too long, so here it goes. From 27 minutes ago, we got one here from Non-Fat Matt, who says, as a home inspector, what is your reaction when you see a house with wall anchors, and would you buy a house with wall anchors? Wall anchors? You mean, what do you mean, like wall anchors that you put in the wall to hang screws on and hang shelves and posters? What do you mean by that? Yeah, that's sort of a cosmetic thing. That's not really a structural thing, so I would be okay with it, Non-Fat Matt. Is that what you meant, man? I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but I don't think those are. I don't think those would make or break a deal when it comes to buying a house. If that's what you're referring to, the little plastic wall anchors, they go into the drywall. All right, Jesus. How's it going, Jesus? Hey, John. You should try the game called Helldivers 2. If you enjoy Arc Raiders, you'll like this game better, I promise. Each mission is like a movie. Interesting. Okay, what is this called? Helldivers 2? I never heard of Helldivers 1. Helldivers 2. Let's check it out. Okay, it looks kind of cool. Ah, okay, kind of a dystopian apocalyptic space thing. Is it only on PS5? I don't have a PS5. I have a Xbox. Yeah, it looks kind of cool, man. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to Arc Raiders, I played it for a couple hours, and I'm not that into it. It sort of feels like you're looting and leveling up just to loot and level up. And call me crazy, I just find that somewhat repetitive. Because there's not much story. I wish it had more of an adventure. I wish I had more of a reason to like build and upgrade all my equipment. And first and foremost, when it comes to games like that, unless you're using Google to look at everything that you're collecting, you have no clue what you're collecting in those games. So you basically just have to look at Google, find everything you need. And then my thing is, if I have to research a game on the internet, then the game has not done its job and I'm not doing it. I'm not learning an entire new education on a video game to play it. I don't want to memorize all of this shit for a game that I don't care enough about. That's just where I'm at in life. So I gave up on Arc Raiders. I feel like I wasted $40 on it, but a lot of people enjoy it. For me, I just feel like it's sort of repetitive. You loot, you extract. You loot, you extract. They come, they eat, they leave. They come, they eat, they leave. All right, let's go to the next one here. Will you be picking up Nightcrawler 4K Steelbook Shout Factory release? Not only will I be picking it up, I've already bought it. So I did put a pre-order in for the Nightcrawler Steelbook. We've talked about this before, but I have to show you guys the Steelbook from Shout Factory here. It just feels necessary. So here it is right here. This thing was $35.99 with shipping and taxes and all that other fun stuff. I think I paid like $40 for this. Now, when it comes to Nightcrawler, one of my favorite movies ever made, to me, it just speaks to me. If you gave me enough time and resources and said, John, come up with a movie that costs under $10 million and Jake Gyllenhaal can be your lead actor, make that movie. For me, this is like the movie my brain would want to come up with. So that's why I've always loved Nightcrawler. Now, let's talk about the Steelbook, shall we? It looks like Fast and Furious Part 73. Now you do got Lou Bloom's car in there. You have some camera gear on the hood of the car. But like, get off. What is going on with this picture here? So is the car flying down the highway in a chase scene with the camera just sitting on the hood? What are they trying to convey with this Steelbook art? It's not the best representation of what I would say the movie is. For me, you should see the Hollywood backdrop skyline in the distance, and you should see like the Hollywood sign off to the side, and you should have Lou Bloom's car right here to the side, and then Lou Bloom should be standing there with a camera in his hand looking down at the city with like a silhouette. That's what the cover of the Steelbook should be. It shouldn't look like a knockoff of Fast and Furious that you would find in the $5 DVD bin at Walmart. But anyway, I did buy it, so there's that. All right. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Arrow Video, who did send me this awesome, probably one of my favorite 4K releases of the year, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Trilogy, the 4K from Arrow Video. And I will put a link to this down below. This is an awesome release. Now, here's the thing. I think they sent this to me like a week or two ago, and I didn't know I had it because my wife put the package in our garage on a shelf, and I didn't look at it. For some reason, no one mentioned it for 2 weeks. I know. We got to work on communication here in the Flickinger household, but nevertheless, I have it now. And look at this look at how sexy this is. It's still in the plastic. I'm almost scared to open it up. But anyway, should I open it? I'm going to open it. You guys want to open this up together? Okay, here it goes. It smells like pizza. To understand cricket, you got to know what a crumpet is. All right, let's slowly slide the plastic off. Oh. All right, let's slide the slipcover off. Look at that. Look at that. Just, it's just gorgeous. Look at that, baby. Look at that. Oh, the ooze canister broken up. Oh, Robo Sucky. And then you have all the movies in there, right there. Look at that. That is beautiful. I have not seen that. I haven't even looked this up online yet. So I don't know if the picture quality of all these movies look good. If they look bad, I don't care. But I think the physical release of this is awesome. Let's just take the first movie out, shall we? Now, I'll tell you what would make this even better. By the way, here's the cover art of the first film right there. Oh, look at the shredder, the side silhouette. Oh, I love it. I love it. That is beautiful. Let's open this bad boy. Oh, my God. They had a whole bunch of cards in there. There's a whole bunch of stickers in each one of these. You have some cards in there. What is this? Michelangelo. Okay. So you have some stickers. That's pretty cool. But anyway, let's open this bad boy up. And then here's the inside of the case, and there's the artwork. I mean, top-notch stuff from Arrow Video, man. Let's go to the second movie, though. I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Let's go through each one. I'm kind of curious what they did for the artwork for each one. Oh, shit. I was hoping they'd have Vanilla Ice on there, but they don't. But they do have the Super Shredder. Oh, I love that. Look at that. That's the Super Shredder after he takes he's all jacked up in the Super Soldier Serum, played by Kevin Nash. And oh, I love it. Look at that. But you do have the scene where they go ninja, go ninja, go. I like to think Vanilla Ice is somewhere over here. And then you have Tokar and Razor. Babies! They're babies! I love it, man. Say what you will about Secret of the Ooze. Yeah, is it a little baby down and watered down, and the Ninja Turtles don't actually even use their weapons to appease overprotective parents who won't allow their children to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles use their weapons? Yeah, you don't get a lot of violence in the second movie, but there's a lot to enjoy. There's a lot to enjoy in there. And I always have. And then here's the third movie. Now, I hate the third movie. I always have, and I probably always will. But here's the cover for it. I just think there was so much more they could have done with the samurai vibe of the third movie. You had the little boy named Yoshi. Anyway, you got a card in here of Casey Jones. So anyway, I love the release of these. I mean, maybe I should go back and revisit the third movie. I always liked their hideout in the subway a little bit more in the third movie, where they actually have that subway cart and it has all the lights on it, and it's like a place you'd actually want to live. Like the sewer that they live in the first movie. I know it's a sewer, but man, it just doesn't look very inviting, does it? And then also in this release, you have a couple books here. Ooh, it comes with a poster. It's getting even better, man. Check this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. The booklet that comes in the set looks like a pizza menu. That's brilliant. Roy's Greenwich Village, dine-in pickup. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, in this booklet you have all kinds of info and facts about the movie. That's really nice. That's classy. But let's open up this poster here. I'm going to be very gentle with it. It's very fragile. And when it comes to movie posters, which we just talked about for a few minutes, I've always thought the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie poster was one of the most iconic movie posters ever made. I mean, just it's so visually stimulating. Look at that. I love that wide angle lens of the Ninja Turtles coming out of the sewer. You have the font up there with the city. That to me is like a perfect movie poster for this movie. Like there's not a thing I would change about that. Just awesome. So really cool release from Arrow Video. Big thanks to them. And if you like the Ninja Turtles, I don't think I could probably recommend this enough, but this is probably going to be one of my favorite physical media releases of the year by far. Just the amount of stuff you get in there. The only thing I wish they had was a little ooze. Like a little ooze you could open up and put in your mouth or something. I don't know. I'm just a fan of ooze. You know, that's who I am and that's what I do. Don't judge me. So anyway, awesome set. Thank you very much, Arrow Video. Much appreciated. And let's go to the next question here. I forgot what the previous question was. Oh, yes. Jesus. Oh, we talked about Arc Raiders. Yes. So thanks for the question. And by the way, guys, I only have 6 party poppers tonight. So the first 6 people who leave a super chat, $5 or over, do get the 6 party poppers. So here you go. Thank you so much for the question, man. The next one comes from Taco, who says, "Hey, Johnny Monster D, Energy, what? Big love from Japan as always. Why don't you take some pre-workout like Mr. Hyde and start hitting the gym again? We liked Buff John more than you think we did." You know, I don't know how to take that, but I like it. I like that, so thank you for that. That does make me feel warm and gooey inside. And so, you know, the thing is, man, I just got lazy. I got so lazy, and the gym for me, back in 2015 to or 2013 to 2018, to me, it was like climbing a mountain, right? And you climb that mountain and eventually you get to the top of it. And you're like, I'm physically where I want to be. And then I get bored with it. And then I stop caring about climbing said mountain. I climb back down to the base and I look up at the mountain, and sometimes I reminisce. I'm like, hey, that mountain had amazing bicep definition, didn't it? But you know what? I don't care anymore. But truthfully, to be honest with you, I do need to hit the gym a little bit more. Do I need to be as buff as I was in 2015? No. I don't think I could, and I don't want to be. I don't think I could physically eat enough food like I did in my mid to late 20s. There's no way. I would feel bloated and tired, and I would just I would go into a coma and fall over. There's no way I could do that again. But I need to get back into the gym. You're right. I just want to stay. The only goal I have in life is to avoid getting a dad bod. That's it. That's it. But after my wedding, I did gain 20 pounds after my wedding. And that's typical. But over the last 2 months, I did drop it. So now I weigh 199. So I'm pretty proud of that. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Jack Malloy. How's it going, Jack? Hey, John. Which Trachtenberg film is your favorite? Also, would you agree Seinfeld, The Wire, and Sopranos are up there in TV GOAT status? I'd say Sopranos is the greatest of all time. Sorry, I'm trying to fix something. Hang on here. Okay. I agree with you. I agree. I like The Sopranos. But the thing about The Sopranos was it never had the most rewatchability of any series for me. Like Game of Thrones, if season 8 had just got it right, that would probably be my favorite series of all time. But I think right beside that, you have other series like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, which is, in my opinion, probably the best spinoff of all time. Okay. What was your question? The director? Dan Trachtenberg? I don't know. I don't even know what the hell he did. Let me look. I know he did. Let's see. Okay, obviously he did Predator Badlands, which just came out a few weeks ago. Then he did Killers of Killers, Prey, The Lost Symbol, The Boys, Warframe, Black Mirror, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Oh, I forgot he directed that. You know, honestly, I think his best movie is 10 Cloverfield Lane. Do you guys agree with that? Like, here's his filmography. Predator Badlands was good, but I don't think I'm ever going to have the urge to rewatch it, just to be honest with you. But 10 Cloverfield Lane, I have watched a few times, and I've enjoyed it both times. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that's his best movie, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I just think John Goodman being down in a a bunker in this post-apocalyptic setting, just being crazy and making people play board games and watch an old CRT TV. And if you don't listen to what he says, he puts you in a vat of acid. To me, that just lends itself perfectly to like a movie. And I wish we got more movies like that. So I'm going to go with that. All right, the next one comes from Philly Cheesesteak 88, who says, who do you think will die in Avatar Fire and Ash? Okay, so I have not seen the movie. I haven't read anything about the movie. My eye itches, so let me fix that real quick. I have some theories. My theory would be Jake Sully might just die in this movie because I feel like his story needs to end, and they need the younger characters who are now, I think, probably like 20 years old at this point, his children, to take over the story. So my theory is Jake Sully dies and the children are now the main focus point. Just a theory. No one, don't spoil anything in the comments, okay? But that's just my theory. Also, I feel like Stephen Ling's character could probably die at this point as well. Or maybe thematically, they both die saving their children, thus showing that they're not that different when it comes to the heart that they both share. You know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jake Sully on that one. Okay, Murph says, if you were stuck in a bunker with John Goodman, would you even want to leave? Seemed like a good time to me. Dude, I agreed. I used to have this conversation with my friends, and we both agreed. We're like, okay, so the end of the world's happening. You have a bunker. You have all these movies. You have board games. You have oxygen. You can grow plants. You have water. What else do you need to do? Please. If I had all of those resources at my fingertips, I hope aliens invade the earth and wipe out everything and everyone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just keeping it real with you. If I have board games and like a whole bunch of VHS tapes I can watch, I'm cool. I will be content down here. Don't bother me, all right? But if you disobey me, I will put you in a vat of acid. Let's move on. No, I just think that would be awesome. You know, and I'd probably upgrade some of the board games, and I would definitely have more of a physical media selection at my fingertips if I did have a bunker underground, you know. But, you know, and that's the other thing, man. Keep this in mind. This is why you should appreciate physical media so much. If there is a bunker scenario where we have to go underground, I hate to tell you, those Netflix servers are probably going to be down. So if you want content and all you do is have streaming services, well, sorry, you can play the board games and you have nothing else to do. Sucks to be you. But as a guy who collects physical media, I'll be good to go. I got all my movies. I'm cool, man. I'll just be chilling. So, yeah. All right, let's go to the next one here. The next one comes from Philly Cheesesteak 88 once again, who says, most anticipated movie of 2026 besides Doomsday. Most anticipated movie of 2026, probably The Odyssey. I would say Doomsday and Odyssey are my two movies I need to see in 2026. I'd even say The Odyssey is probably a hair above Doomsday. At least I know it's going to be this spectacle and it's something different. And I love a good sword and sandals movie or swords and sandals movie. And that gets me so excited because that's such a genre that isn't that prevalent as much as I would like it to be in Hollywood. And when it comes to that genre, you have movies like Troy, you have movies like Gladiator. If you want to keep going back in time, you have movies like Ben-Hur. So, you know, I that gets me excited. It's going to be a spectacle, and I can't wait to watch it. So I'd go with that. And that's my question for you guys. What is your number one most anticipated movie of 2026? All right, the next one comes from Avocado Balls Johnson, who says, do a cool Kintrich impression. Cool Kintrich? Colonel Kintrich from One Battle After Another. For some reason, I can never remember that title. Ever. Ever. Or no, is Quintridge... No, Quintridge is... Colonel Quintridge is... Oh, is that Stephen Lang's character? I don't know. Stop throwing so much shit at me. It's too late. Yeah, Quintridge... Okay, so it's Stephen Lang's... I'm sorry. I was thinking of Sean Penn's character. Okay. I don't remember specifically what he says. He says something like... Pandora is a dangerous place. They'll poke your eyes out and chew them up like juju beans. But I do remember this quote from the beginning of Avatar: Fire and Ash. I remember watching... I'm sorry. I do remember this quote from the beginning of Avatar: The Way of Water, where he's talking... The movie starts out and it shows Stephen Lang's character... Colonel Quintridge or Quintwidge, whatever the fuck his name is, who cares? And he's doing his vlog to the camera. And he's like, and yeah, that Jake Sully character, well, if I meet my demise, it is probably him. And it's just like terrible writing. Good job, James Cameron. Good job. You wrote a movie for 7-year-olds. And it cost $1 billion. We're so proud. But I love me some James Cameron nevertheless. I know I'm saying his name wrong. Who gives a shit? Who cares? It's all subjective. It's just made up. It's however you say it. That is the way. All right, let's keep going. I see you. And the next question comes from... It won't matter, because he's probably dying in the next movie. All right. Claudio Rogujon. How's it going, Claudio? I meant to say Andrea Beaumont's character is just called the Phantasm, not the Mask of the Phantasm. Well, it's all about semantics, isn't it? Do you think we needed to be corrected on such a thing? Yes, she is called the Phantasm. The orgasm. Let's go to the next one here. Yes, you are right, Claudio. Thank you for correcting me. I needed it. Now punish me, sir. Let's go to the next one here. The next one comes from Chassis C1689, who says, John, I've been watching since I started working from home in October 2022, and I just want to say thank you for the endless hours of great content. Well, thank you so much for that. That does mean a lot. That does make me feel good inside. And you know what? You don't even have to say thank you. Not necessary. You never said thank you, and you'll never have to. But thank you for that so much. That does mean a lot. So please keep watching. That's my only ask. That's my only request. And also give the video a like, because YouTube doesn't know if you like the video unless you click the stupid little button at the bottom. Even though Google tracks your IP address and knows everything that you're doing, they don't know if you like my video unless you click the thumbs up button. I know, it's crazy, right? But nevertheless, thank you so much for the question, Chassis. And you get a party popper. 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay. I was recording the live stream back there because I'm doing this special thing where I'm teaching a class and doing tutorials on how to live stream on YouTube. So I wanted sort of a perspective of me live streaming. So that's why I had my camera pointed over here. All right, let's keep going. I'm the guy who forgot to change his video from unlisted to public. And yes, I am teaching courses on how to live stream. All right, let's keep going. Ad SD Vids says, why do you say what you are doing over there when you do a Mark Wahlberg impression? You know, I don't know why I did that. It blends the right verbiage together for me to get a Mark Wahlberg impression out. You know, because the hey has like a high pitch on the back of it. Hey, what are you doing over there? Hey, say hi to your mother for me. Where's your father? Home fucking your mother? I don't know. I don't know why I do that. I don't know. One day I started it and I never stopped. So I think that's why I do it. And also when I'm trying to do an impression, for some odd reason, I can never remember like the exact quote I want to say. So that's probably why. But anyway, man, thank you for the question. And as a wise man once said, hey, is that a party pop in your pocket? Are you just happy to see me? Sorry, that was kind of sucky party popper, but I only have 4 left, so let's make them count. And the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock. How's it going, Skylar? What are your thoughts on Scorsese's Vegas series coming out to Netflix? And would you want this series to follow the same tone as Casino or go in a new direction? I am not that familiar with this. Scorsese's Vegas series. Okay, what is this? I don't. What time period does this take place in? Because no one reporting on the story seems to have any factual information about said story. Variety, yeah. Let me click all your ads before I read your article. Let's see. Netflix is rolling out the dice to greenlight the drama series set in Vegas. The untitled project was created by Brian Kopelman and David Levine. Okay, so Martin Scorsese is attached to it. An hour-long drama set in the high-stakes, sharp-elbowed present-day Vegas. So it's present-day Vegas. That doesn't really interest me that much, so I don't care. Let's keep going. All right. No, I'm just kidding. You know, it could be cool, but modern-day Vegas is boring to me. If this was set in like the 1990s, the 70s, the 80s, back when Vegas kind of felt like Vegas, now it just feels like a tourist attraction that you take little kids to and you go see touristy bullshit. And don't get me wrong, I've been to Vegas like 5 times. I like it, you know, but it's a very expensive city, but it just costs a lot of money to have fun. But rarely when I go there do I gamble. So it could be cool. I don't know. It could be cool. All right. Nevermind Gaming says probably the MJ movie is his most anticipated movie of the year. Interesting. I never seen one battle after another. Yeah, it's okay. Some people love it. I thought it was worth watching once, and I just don't know if I'd go back and revisit it anytime soon. But I loved Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in the movie. James Doshier says, I guess I'm looking forward to the Super Mario Galaxy movie next year. Can I say something about the Super Mario movies, or at least the animated movies? I don't like that. I don't like them that much. like, I don't know what it is, but watching like the last Super Mario movie, yeah, it had Mario in it. It had Chris Pratt doing the voice. It had Charlie Day being annoying as shit as Luigi. I'm Luigi. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, it had all those things, and it had Jack Black doing the voice of Bowser, but I don't know. It's not what I want. It just feels like some third-party studio borrowing the IP to make sort of like a generic animated movie that doesn't feel top tier by any means. And it just feels like a string of jokes that aren't that funny. It feels like the Minions, but with Mario in it. And I just wish the movies had more of a heart to them. You know, I wish they almost felt like they were made by Pixar. You know, I feel like if you brought that Pixar vibe to a Mario movie, that to me would be interesting. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'd much rather watch like the live action Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1992. You know, it's an abomination against cinema and it sucks. But at least it's sort of weird and kooky to watch. I don't know. These newest animated Mario movies, they just don't really do it for me. Do you like the comedian Bob Saget? You mean Danny Tanner? I liked him, you know, when he was alive, I guess. Rest his soul. But, you know, you have to remember this about Bob Saget. He brought us the original version of YouTube before the internet existed with America's Funniest Home Videos. And to me, that is what I think of when I think of Bob Saget. And that's also another thing, like America's Funniest Home Videos. Do you guys remember that? Like sitting around, he'd come out on the stage and You'd see a whole bunch of stupid video clips, and now we just go to TikTok for those things. I miss those days. Okay, let's keep going. And the next one comes from... Here it is. I found it. Okay. Holmes, or W. Holmes, 17, who says, John, I work in houses too, and the best days are when you're alone or when they leave you alone and let you work. That gets my bat nipples hard. The job has made me lose patience for a lot of small dogs over the years. Yappy little effers. I love dogs. Yeah, you know, for my job as a home inspector, it's always beneficial, not only for me, but the clients as well. When I'm there inspecting, I really need to focus on what I'm doing. And if someone's bothering me and asking me a lot of questions while I'm trying to inspect, I'm just going to be honest. It's not as thorough, and I don't notice as many things as I should. And it's kind of a detriment to the service that you're paying for. Now, at the end of my inspection, I can answer any questions that you have and go over everything that I found in a summary, and then look out for the much more detailed report this evening or potentially tomorrow. But yeah, I completely agree. People just hold up the process. But really, when it comes to anything, aren't people the worst part of everything? You know, that's just my motto. Okay, let's go to the next one. And the next one comes from... Nova Sonic says he'll pick Never Watch the Dark Knight trilogy again. Who you talking to? The last time I'd been to Vegas was 2017. Yeah, the last time I was there was 3 years ago? 2 years ago? No. I went last year right after my wedding. I went a month after my wedding. I had a buddy who has, I have a YouTube viewer buddy who actually is, his family owns the Fantasy Lab in Vegas, and he invited me out to their new event. So, yeah, it was a pretty good time. All right, let's go to the next one. And the next one comes from 1982 Seb, who says... Hi, John. How's it going? What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Where do we even begin with such a question? You know, there's been a lot of bad movies, underwhelming movies, terrible sequels, underwhelming sequels. And it's really hard to pinpoint off the top of my head the worst movie I've ever seen. Why can I never remember what some of these options... I'm sure you guys know better than I do at this point. You know what I always say? I always say some of the Terminator sequels are some of the most disappointing sequels of all time. Like Terminator Genesis, Terminator, the one with the lady who had a Justin Bieber haircut, Terminator... Oh my God, what was that called? Terminator. Anyway, the one with Arnold in disguise hanging up drapery. That's what he's doing now as a Terminator. Battlefield Earth would make that list. Yeah, that's a terrible movie. Oh God, what's... The sequel to The Mask was pretty bad. Home Alone 3 is probably one of my least favorite movies of all time. Some people actually like that. I never understood it. Let's see. Men in Black 3 was pretty atrocious. I mean, I'll tell you one of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen that's part of a franchise. Dark Fate. Yes, Dark Fate. Yeah, that sucked balls. That sucked cybernetic organism balls, didn't it? Just terrible. The casting choices in that. The casting for everyone was terrible. Just bad. Terrible movie. They should be ashamed of themselves. But anyway, I think Rise of Skywalker is probably like one of the worst franchise movies I've ever seen in my entire life. No excuse for how bad it was. Yeah, Terminator Dark Fate, where they kill little CGI John Connor in the first 5 minutes of the movie, undoing all of the great achievements of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Just retconning it to shit. Good job, Hollywood. Yay! Suicide Squad 2016 was bad. It was pretty bad. Yes. All right. Star Wars Episode 1. I like Star Wars Episode 1. I know Jar Jar sucks, but I liked it. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Tars. How's it going? John, you need to watch Eddington. I think you'll really enjoy it. You can see it on HBO. Best movie of the year for me. Ari Aster never misses. Also, have you seen The Chair Company? It's hilarious. I've heard all about The Chair Company. I have not watched it yet. Is it good? Do you guys like it? I haven't watched it. I get that it's funny, but I don't know if it's like the show that I want to sit down and watch. Like this guy who's people say he's funny, but every time I see a clip of him, I'm just like, oh, I'll watch this for 3 seconds, and I never laugh, and then I go on to the next thing. So I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out at some point. What? Let's see. It's got a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and Rotten Tomatoes has it at 100%. Holy shit. Well, it must be good. Yeah, Tim Robinson. I don't know. I'll check it out. And what was the other part of this question here? Oh, Eddington. Yeah, I'll watch it at some point. I promise you. I think you said this in the last live show, or somebody else did, almost verbatim the exact same thing. I will check it out at some point. 3C Films. How's it going, 3C? I love Tim Robinson's humor. How dare you? Of course you do. Well, you're a guy who paints himself green to talk about Wicked. So I get it, man. But I can't talk too much shit. So anyway, how's it going, 3C? Thank you for joining me. And 3C, give me a super chat if you want me to give you the praise and accreditation you so rightfully deserve. You cheap bastard. All right, let's keep going here. All right. We need to get 3C in here sometime for a co-host position on the live stream. What do you say? All right. How's it going, man? All right. The next one comes from Night King 01, who says, John, you need to check out Cobra 4K release by Arrow Video. It looks badass. Also, the Hong Kong cinema classics by Shout Factory are amazing. Picture quality is on point. Yeah, Shout Factory almost never misses. Arrow Video almost never misses with their physical media releases. I do want to get Cobra at some point. I don't know if I want to pay like full retail price. It's one of those movies I want to try to find like on a deal or maybe used. For some odd reason, I just get so much more gratification when I search high and low and find physical media at a reduced rate. For some reason, my Neanderthal hunter-gatherer instincts require such things. So at some point, I will get it. John, can you believe Edward Scissorhands is turning 35 in a few days? I can believe it. I remember watching that movie on VHS when I was a stupid little kid, and that feels like a lifetime ago. And it feels longer than 35 years. But I love me some Edward Scissorhands. And for some odd reason, that neighborhood that he lives in, I've always wanted to live in it. And not only because of that, because all the lawn and all their bushes look so well manicured. And the other thing is, if my neighbor was like Edward Scissorhands and he had like hands for scissors, that's cool by me, man. Just keep those pointing objects away from my eyeballs. But I would love for him to come over and trim my bushes, figuratively and literally. But let's look at this. Yeah, let's look at this neighborhood from Edward Scissorhands. I love it. I've always wanted to live here. Now, fun fact, they actually constructed this neighborhood, or they took an existing neighborhood and painted all of the houses for this movie. I always thought that was really interesting. And this neighborhood, I believe, still exists, but the houses aren't, all pink and blue and green, and the bushes aren't as well maintained anymore. But yeah, here's the original Edward Scissorhands house. Pretty cool. But yeah, I've always wanted to live in this neighborhood. Is that weird? I don't know. Look how peaceful that looks. All the cars. It looks fake and artificial. I love it. It looks like something you'd see in like Sims or something. So anyway, let's keep going. Rod Thunderheart, how's it going? Think you meant scissors for hands. What did I say? Hands for scissors? Either way, let's keep going. And then you had the one neighbor who was all horny for Edward Scissorhands and tries to like seduce him in the back room of the beauty salon. Quality cinema. Okay, the next one comes from... And by the way, Night King, I will eventually check out Cobra on 4K, I promise. All right, Caleb, how's it going? Thank you, John, for all the entertainment over the years. I just watched Begonia. Pretty good. Yeah, I liked me some Begonia. I thought that was one of the more thought-provoking, not even thought-provoking, just one of the more interesting, subtle movies of the year that didn't require a lot of CGI and explosions, where it focused more on dialogue-driven sequences. And I love movies where, maybe I'm weird, maybe I'm a sociopath, and this will say a lot about me, but I like movies where you have a villainous character played by like Jesse Plemons, and they abduct someone and keep them in a basement. And then you have this dialogue that goes back and forth. It almost feels like a stage play. I like movies like that. You know, that's one of the things I liked about Silence of the Lambs. You just have this dialogue between these characters back and forth. And once again, another movie about someone trapped in a basement being held against their will. And also, let's back up for a few minutes and talk about another movie that we just talked about called 10 Cloverfield Lane, where he sort of traps someone in his basement bunker and keeps them against their will. But there's something about that tense situation in a movie that takes place in one location that just titillates my senses. So I quite enjoyed Begonia, and I'm glad you liked it. It's probably my top 10 of the year. The ending was a little bit, I wasn't in love with it. But anyway, I'm glad you liked the movie. And by the way, Caleb, thank you for the question in the super chat, and you get a party popper. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from W. Holmes, back again, who says, John, I like to think the pigeon lady found her way out of Central Park, had herself a shower, and went on to become who she was in Angels in the Outfield, fostering the youth that didn't have a stable home lives. The two characters she played are connected. That's not a bad theory. That's a good theory. And I could see someone like the pigeon lady moving to Los Angeles to raise orphan children and having a heart of gold. And one of those young children is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who might even remind her of young Macaulay Culkin when she looks into his eyes. And then he can see angels because he wants his baseball team, who sucks so bad, to win. And his dad just never gives him the time of day. Okay, you know what? I can live with that theory. I can live with all of that. But let's be honest with ourselves first and foremost. When it comes to the pigeon lady, and yes, the pigeon lady will haunt your dreams. Let's look at her. Let's look at this disgusting filth known as the pigeon lady. It doesn't matter how many baths the pigeon lady takes after Home Alone 2. That bird shit will never be washed away clean, ever. So she'll always be tainted in pigeon shit. Now and forever. And that's okay. I'm just putting it out there. Look at her. Ugh. Ugh. Look at this. You know what? They're definitely related. They're definitely related. Ah! All right, let's keep going. Let's wash the visuals of the pigeon lady out of our eyes. And as soon as this live stream is done, we all have to go take some bleach, rub it in your eyeballs to wash it away so you don't ever have to see it again. Don't do that. All right. Just a disclaimer. Don't rub bleach in your eyeballs. You should only drink bleach. It's good for you. It's got protein in it. Don't do that either. Don't cancel me. Don't sue me. All right. 3C Films back again says, miss you, buddy. I'll send you all my money just for a minute of your attention. Never forget you're my hero. Thank you, 3C. Thank you for finally publicly admitting that. 3C, I would like to say, took strong inspiration from my YouTube career and everything I did before he ever thought about pushing record on a video camera. So you're welcome for all the years of entertainment and inspiration. But unlike myself, you're much more consistent. But definitely check out 3C. Talented guy. He's funny. I enjoy hanging out with him. And really nice guy. But he's kind of weird too. And I like that. I like the weirdness. So anyway, thanks for joining 3C. And I hope that was enough recognition for you tonight. You self-centered, narcissistic prick you. I'm just kidding. I love you, man. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from... I saw another chat in here. 3C's not leaving. He's still watching. He didn't leave. He didn't go anywhere. He's still watching. I know he is. Anyway, I love you, buddy. Let's keep going. And the next one comes from... Oh, let's scroll back. Let's scroll way, way back. Okay, here we go. Avocado Balls Johnson once again. And by the way, guys, I'm about 27 minutes behind on the questions. We will get to every single question, so keep them coming. James, no. Avocado Balls Johnson. Is that where I'm at right now? Yeah, Avocado Balls Johnson. How could I forget? Season 6 and 7 of Game of Thrones were trash. The cracks really started to show in season 4. Yeah, well, the other thing is, when the writers thought they were going to start directing a new Star Wars movie, they just try to jump to the conclusion. What you had with Game of Thrones was you had this narrative, this story, this script that was so brilliantly weaved. You had all these characters and all these arcs and all these subplots leading into season 7 and 8. And then they got offered Star Wars and they said, you know what? Nah, just go straight to the finish line. And it was a really big disservice. And keep in mind, HBO offered these guys another season or two. They're like, how much money do you need? You need another season? We got it. You want another one? Got it. And they're like, no. Let's just get to the end and just wrap this shit up. That way we can make some shitty Star Wars movie, but we're never actually going to make said Star Wars movie because season 8 of Game of Thrones sucks so bad that Disney refused to hire us for our shitty Star Wars movie. So I'm glad that's the way it worked out, and that's what they deserve. But yeah, it was a really big disservice, and I hate it. And now we have House of the Dragon, and I like it, House of the Dragon. I do like it, but it's not Game of Thrones. It's just not. It's a little too stoic for its own good. But I do enjoy it. I just wish we didn't have to wait so long in between seasons. Okay, Rod Thunderheart has become a member. Yay! Thanks, Rod Thunderheart. I thought you already were a member, but that's okay, man. James Dozier says, hey, John, hope you're doing great this night. I got 4K Blu-rays of Clint Eastwood's films, The First Dirty Harry, Outlaw Jose Wales, and Pale Rider for Black Friday. Yeah, some good pickups. I think I owned most of those on 4K. But I don't know if I still have my Clint Eastwood Blu-ray collection. But yeah, a couple months ago, I went through and sort of cleansed my 4K Steelbook collection. Not because I wanted to, but just because I bought a new car and I had to get some of my savings out, and I wanted to replenish that a little bit. And I was like, do I need a Steelbook copy of Captain Phillips on 4K? No, I do not. So I sold some of the Steelbooks I didn't want anymore, didn't need. And but I still have the ones that I still love back there on the shelf. So, but that's awesome, man. Some good pickups. The next one comes from Greg Sheen, who says, Johnny Big Biceps, I'm loving all these live streams. I agree with you. The new Nightcrawler cover art is not a good depiction of the movie. What are some of your favorite cover arts of Blu-rays that you own? That's a great question. that would probably require me to go back there and look at my movies. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer. Like, I'll tell you one that here, give me 2 seconds. I'll go grab it. Okay. So let me tell you one steelbook that is very valuable right now because it's out of print. But the transfer is not anything I would recommend buying. But if you just want the physical steelbook copy of it on 4K, pick it up. But I'll tell you, like, I love the look of this. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the steelbook, 4K. Now that slipcover right there, oh my God, that red-blue contrast, Arnold looking at you, and you take the slipcover off, and like you have the endoskeleton on there. That is sex, man. That is just beautiful. That to me is probably like one of my favorite physical copy movies that I own, like a steelbook especially. Now, with all that said, the transfer of this doesn't look as good as I was hoping it would be. It's a little too cleaned up. James Cameron, because he's been inundated with digital nothingness for the last 20 years looking at Avatar movies, he forgot what real films should look like. And that means keeping the same color palette and the grain and the contrast. Not everything has to look so digital and waxy. So, it's sort of bittersweet, but this is one of my favorite physical copies of a movie that I own. So, there's that. Yes, Captain Phillips. Why, Flickinger? Because there was black people in it. It's not like you have 80 white movies. Ha ha ha. Did you just try to call me a racist? A bigot? Let me tell you this, my good sir. I love urban culture cinema. I love it more than I probably should. Don't ask questions. Boys in the Hood is probably one of my favorite movies ever made. Menace to Society, I've rewatched that movie probably 30 times. I don't know why. It comforts me. It just does. So let's keep going. I know you were joking, and as was I. But I'm not lying. I do genuinely enjoy rewatching Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society all the time. I always have. Is that weird? I don't know. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Ricky! God. And by the way, speaking of Ricky from Boys in the Hood, played by Morris Chestnut, I actually got to interview and meet Morris Chestnut back in 2014 when he was doing a press tour for the TV show Legends. So there's that. I never loved Juice with Tupac. I never loved Juice. It was okay, but I didn't love it. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from... Oh, come on now. Here we go. Rod Thunderheart. How's it going, Rod? Okay. Hail John. Hypothetical question. How would you feel about having a girlfriend who turns invisible every time she gets aroused around you? Like she disappears and suddenly her dress is floating in front of you every time. Well, I think the best thing would be in that case when you don't see any floating clothes, right? It just means you're getting closer to the action. So how would I feel about that hypothetical question? Interesting, to say the least, because really, men are visual creatures, and thus you don't have the visualization of what's happening. So, like, what do you do? Do you tape, like, a picture of her face on top of her face? That just seems creepy, doesn't it? I don't know what you do with a situation like that. I'd rather be the one that turns invisible. I think that would be more interesting in such a situation. So anyway, let's go to the next one. And thank you for the question, Rod Thunderheart. And you also get a party popper. Just pretend like I'm invisible right now. Thanks for the question, man. Very thought-provoking, to say the least. All right, Grey Wind 86 says, you have to pick one. Never being able to watch the Dark Knight trilogy ever again, or drink the Pigeon Lady's bathwater. Ah, that's what that comment earlier was referring to. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. You know what? I'll just start with this. And this isn't a joke. This isn't me trying to be funny and hyperbolic. This is really from my soul to you guys. If it came down to never watching the Dark Knight trilogy or drinking the Pigeon Lady's bathwater, or even coming within a 10-foot proximity of her, because I'm going to need a hazmat suit to do so, I would rather pluck my eyeballs out and never see another movie again than ever consume the Pigeon Lady's bathwater. And I stand by that. Now and forever. And with all that said, I never want to talk about it again. Let's go to the next question. Do I have to drink it or just gurgle it? And then can I spit it out? Because I like the Dark Knight trilogy quite a bit. I don't know. Okay, if I do take the bathwater in my mouth, can I then drink bleach to try to clean everything that just happened? Maybe if that's an option. All right, but thanks for the question, Grey Wind 86, and you get a party popper, my good sir. So, actually, I think I'm out of party poppers. No, I got one more. Okay. This is the last party popper I have of the night. I'm sorry for this. But this one's for you, Pigeon Lady. All right, the next one comes from James Dosher, who says, have you seen an image of the upcoming Zelda movie? I did see some of the images of the Zelda movie. Let's check them out together, though. I saw a couple of these a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, hey, that looks good to me. That looks like a Link to me. You get Zelda there looking like a princess with elf ears. I mean, it looks good. I would be content with those. I'm content with those casting choices. I am. So it looks cool to me. I don't have any complaints. Now, listen, I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. If I told you I was, I'd blatantly be lying to you. I play the games like a little bit here and there, especially like on the gold cartridge game. I played that a little bit, but I never got super into the Zelda games. But I am looking forward to the movie. I like a good fantasy movie based on an IP of a video game. So yeah, it could be cool. When does the Zelda movie come out? Release date. Comes out May 7th, 2027. Oh man, we got like another year and a half for that. Yeah, I'm those two casting choices at least look right to me. Do it for Batman, John. I will. Rod Thunderheart says, thank you, John. Well, thank you, Rod Thunderheart. Thank you for all your gratitude and your dedication. So thank you. And thanks to all of you. I do appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking like, based on tonight, it feels like Thursday night's almost better than Friday nights for live streams. I feel like people have other shit going on Friday nights. That's when you go out to eat, hang out with your friends, what have you. You don't want to look at my stupid face on a Friday night. Do you guys like the live streams being on Thursday nights? Now, the only reason I typically don't do this is I usually have an early screening of a movie, or I go see the early screening of movies on Thursday night. But I do like doing these Thursday nights. All right, let's keep going. Claudia Rogajon back again says, hey, John, just wanted to say that Prime Video just put a lot of classic mid-80s and early 90s Hong Kong films on their service in 4K. You can finally watch John Woo's movies like The Killer as they are on Prime Video in their original language. Oh, that's cool. So it's on Prime Video. They have all the classic 80s and 90s Hong Kong action movies. And they're on 4K? Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I will check some of those out, man. You know, the thing is, I have this long to-do list when it comes to movies and TV shows. And it just feels like I never have enough time. Even on a day where I have nothing to do, somehow doing nothing that day takes up the entire day. And maybe it's just me, but let me know down below if you feel the same way. The last like 3 months, I feel like I blinked my eyes. It was Halloween. Then I blinked again. And then it was Thanksgiving. And now I'm going to like turn around and it's going to be Christmas. Like, what is happening? It feels like we live in some kind of weird matrix where time is sped up. It feels like it's increased by like 30%. Like sometimes I wake up in the morning and before I know it, it's 7 o'clock at night. And I don't understand how I got there, but all I know is I'm tired. I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to. And before I know it, it's dark outside and I'm a little bit scared and I have this weird form of anxiety that lingers and I don't know what to do with myself. So then I take psychotropic hallucinogens, put a tinfoil hat on, I call the cops, I run outside of my backyard and bark like a dog, and then I come inside and watch reruns of Happy Days until I find my happy place. And then I take a hot shower and I sit there in my shower, thinking about my life, pondering every decision I've ever made, every decision I'm going to make, and question, what is the point of all of this? Is this a simulation? Should I keep going? Are we just bacteria that got lucky and formed on this rock called Earth, twirling through the void of space? What is the greater meaning of all of this? And then I go to bed, and then I wake up and I do it all over again. So I hope that answered your question. Let's go to the next one. And the next one comes, oh God. And the next one comes from, but by the way, thanks for the info, Claudio. I will check out some of those movies, man. All right, W. Holmes back again. How's it going, buddy? John, if you're missing the 1990s coming-of-age films, you should watch Shake Shack. I know others have recommended it, so get on it. It is the type of storytelling we'll all know you are missing in modern movies. What is this called? Shake Shack? We looked this up before. Okay. Oh, you're talking about the you're talking about the 2024 movie that's rated R called Shake Shack. It has a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't know. I want to watch it, but it looks like everyone's trying so hard in the movie. I don't know. I'll check it out. Shake Shack. Okay. I'm going to favorite it. I'm adding it. I'll check it out, man. I know we've talked about this before. I think it's playing on Amazon Prime. Okay, you know what? I will give it 25 minutes of my attention. If it sells me in those first 25 minutes, I will continue the movie. How's that? I'll try to watch it at some point soon. Dustin Rich says we're all gonna die. I know, isn't that a weird thing to really comprehend and like internalize? One day you will no longer exist. I will no longer exist, and we will be forgotten. And the only thing you'll remember me by is my YouTube videos. And that's if YouTube stands the test of time. I don't know. Maybe AI becomes so advanced it just eats away at the internet. That's a possibility. You got to think about AI and the dark things that it can eventually do. I know this is going to be a weird tangent, but listen to me and hear me out. This is going to happen. It might not happen next year or the year after that, or even in this decade, but at some point, AI will become so advanced. When it gets into the wrong hands, AI will simply take over the internet and it will cease to exist. We won't be able to control it. Our electrical grid will go down. Our phone systems will go down. Technology will be halted because if AI gets into the wrong hands, well, it can be used for, I was going to say terrorism, but, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Let's keep going. What are we talking about? Who am I? All right, let's keep going. Someone asked me if I watch Joe Rogan. I do occasionally listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. Occasionally. It depends on the guest. The other day, though, he had Billy Bob Thornton on there. I thought that was sort of an interesting interview. And then he had Russell Crowe on there a couple of days after that. So I do listen to, like, if Joe Rogan has a good guest, that's really how I decide if I listen to his podcast. And I typically listen to it if I have a long drive or I'm doing yard work, but in the wintertime, I don't do a lot of yard work. I wish I could ride my riding lawnmower, but unfortunately we have a foot of snow on the ground right now, so winter sucks. Skylar Wheelock says, maybe we're all in a movie. The others don't know we're all dead already. It really makes you wonder what life is. What is consciousness? What is it? I don't know. Are we just conscious NPC characters that live in a simulated reality? That is a possibility. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, if you could add one rule to the Santa Claus, what would it be? And how does Tim Allen's sarcastic humor make the movie work so perfectly? Yeah, I love the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I love that movie. I saw that in theaters with my dad. I remember watching it just thinking, this is phenomenal. And also there's that entire divorce subplot between Charlie's parents, Tim Allen, and is it Sally Field? Yeah, it's Sally Field, right? And my parents were also divorced at the same time. So I kind of put myself in the place of little Charlie. And I'm like, I wish my dad would fall off a roof and become Santa Claus or something like that. That'd be cool. And then he could come abduct me in the sleigh. And my stepfather would be Neil. So anyway, does it make you want to lash out irrationally? I love the opening to that movie. Da 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 dum da 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 da, where they go to they go to the buffet restaurant, the Chinese buffet restaurant, or was it like Denny's? I think it was Denny's. They go to Denny's in the beginning of the movie. Anyway, phenomenal movie. But I'll tell you what always bothered me about the Santa Claus, and that's the character Bernard. What a creepy dude. Something about him was really unsettling to me. I don't want him around me. I don't like him around children. It just felt weird. He looked a little too old to be there. James Doshier says, yeah, Thursdays and Wednesdays are good for me. All right. Did I watch Survivor Series? I did watch Survivor Series from WWE this Saturday. And it was sort of disappointing. It was definitely kind of a discombobulated show that didn't leave off on a high note. And I thought the War Game matches were like some of the weakest War Games matches I've seen in the last like 2 years. And the fact that they sold out a stadium for this show, it did not seem worthy of a stadium show. The best match on the card was John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. I thought that was good. It was fine, but man, it was sort of an underwhelming PLE from WWE. But I do have tickets for SmackDown and Raw December 19th up in Michigan. I will be going to. And by the way, if you guys want tickets to that show, I have a couple extra tickets that I'm willing to sell you very cheaply. So let me know if you're going to the December 19th WWE show up in Michigan. It's in not Lansing, not Battle Creek, but what is the other town? What is the other Michigan town? I don't remember. Anyway, it's up in Michigan, December 19th. So if you want some cheap tickets and you want to go, let me know. I can sell them to you. Okay, I bought 2 extras. That's why. Okay, the next one comes from Andy Kumar, 2817, who says, are you buying Shelby Oaks on Blu-ray 4K? No, it's not in Detroit. It's not Detroit. Probably not. I don't know if I'll ever watch that movie again. Hey, good on him. He got to make a movie. And hopefully he gets to make another movie. But I probably won't be buying Shelby Oaks on 4K. Zach Keel, yeah, Grand Rapids. Yes, it's in Grand Rapids. Sorry. Yes, that's where it's at. And Andy Kumar also asks, have you ever written a screenplay? I've never written a screenplay. The furthest I've ever gotten with that was writing down some notes for a screenplay once. And I remember like I had all these ideas. I kind of like put together a short little summary of what it would be. but I never delve into the actual screenplay aspect of it. And that was at a time before like they had software that would help you write a screenplay. Because that was my biggest hiccup. I was like, okay, so to even write this shit, I have to like learn how to write a screenplay and do all this stuff. And then I researched it for a while, but I never did it. So no, I haven't written a screenplay. No, I have not. Chris Stuckman looks dead inside in recent reviews. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. You know, the monotone voice has always sort of given that vibe, but now when you look in his eyes, it's just like, man, it's just, you can tell he does not want to be there. You get that sense. You really do. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one comes from Silvio. How's it going, Silvio? Who says, love this channel. Well, you know what, Silvio? This channel loves you. This channel loves you more than you ever know. And that also gets 2 little hard party popper nips for me to you. So there you go. I'll never do that again. I'm sorry. Don't cancel me. I'm sorry. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Heel Wilson 55, who says, Yeet John, I love Badlands. What do you think of Trachtenberg's Endgame is with the post credits of Killers and the alien connection revived? So let's just spoil this shit now because it's already been on the internet. It's been out long enough. The post credit scene I think you're talking about is the one with Arnold. Dutch's character is essentially, he's back. He's been in cryosleep or what have you, and now he's back. So he technically exists in the Aliens franchise once again, or the Predator franchise. And my only hope is, if they do make another live-action Predator movie, that first and foremost, it doesn't look like it belongs in a Disney Plus Mandalorian series at times. Also, I want there to be some blood, guts, and gore. So let's get rid of that pussified PG-13 rating, shall we? And let's cater to adults that have money, that buy tickets to these movies. And I don't know about you, but, you know, most dads who want to see movies like this, they don't mind taking their 10-year-old kids to an R-rated movie, as long as it's a Predator movie where they're cutting people's heads off. You know, as long as that's the content of R-rated, the R-rated content you're going to get, it's based on action, I think that is fine. I think that's fine. You know, there's no sex, there's no drug use, there's not extensive nudity. You know, I get being a parent, not taking your kid to an R-rated movie that's NC-17. I understand all of those things. But to take them to an R-rated Predator movie, I just think that's like a rite of passage for anyone growing up. I really do. So yeah. Plus, you don't want soft kids. They need to be inundated with R-rated movies, or at least actiony R-rated movies. Okay, a little blood won't hurt you, as long as it's not yours and it's in a fictional universe far, far away. So, what was the question? Oh yeah, so the Arnold cameo. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Do it now. I'm not a pervert. I just wanted to kill a predator. By the way, I rewatched Jingle All the Way the other day. I love it, man. I love it. Phil Hartman's character in Jingle All the Way, playing the perverted neighbor next door who just like tries to hook up with all the housewives in the neighborhood. Oh, that's so underappreciated. And that's the kind of comedy you'll never see in another children's movie ever again. And that makes me miss things like that. Okay, we got one here from 3C Films. How's it going, 3C Films? He's an up and coming YouTuber, so he definitely needs your support. So go subscribe to his movie channel. Anyway, miss you, buddy. I'll send you all of my money just for a minute of your attention. Nevertheless, never forget you're my hero. Nothing makes me feel better when I go to bed at night reciting those words over and over again. So thank you, 3C Films. Chris Parker, you beautiful bastard, you. So anyway, once again, definitely check out 3C Films. Has a much better YouTube channel than mine. Go check him out at some point. But not now. Wait until my live stream's over. All right. Let's keep going here. Immortum. How's it going, Immortum? And by the way, I wish I had more party poppers for you guys. I'm all out of party poppers tonight. I failed you. I feel like Alfred in The Dark Knight Rises. I failed you. I failed you. Okay, here we go. Immortum, how's it going, buddy? Hey, John. I hope all is well with you. I just wanted to ask you what your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie is. For me, it's a toss-up between The Voices, Buried, Waiting, and Paperman. That's a great... Let me take this shit off my head. Ryan Reynolds has been in a lot of good and a lot of bad movies. Now, I will say Waiting is definitely one of his most underrated movies of all time. If you've never seen the movie Waiting, it takes place at a restaurant, sort of like Applebee's, and it's just a lot of fun. And if you've ever worked in the service industry, I think it's one of those movies that will speak to you. And as a dude who delivered pizzas and worked in said service industry, everything that you see in that movie has happened at some point. Yes, even the Batwing has happened. Let's think. Let's look up some other Ryan Reynolds movies. All right. Let's see what we got here. You got the Deadpool movies. I like Deadpool and Wolverine. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie. Free Guy, yeah. Red Notice sucked. Really bad. It sucked. The Adam Project sucked. The Hitman's Bodyguard sucked. X-Men Origins Wolverine sucked. Safe House, I wasn't a big fan of. National Lampoon's Vacation was kind of like one of the first Ryan Reynolds movies that I took notice of Ryan Reynolds. Then you got Waiting. God, he's been in a lot of bad movies. R.I.P.D. Ugh. Buried was good. I just never had the urge to revisit it. Adventureland, he was pretty good in. Man, he's been in a lot of bad movies. Six Underground, another terrible Netflix movie. Now listen to this. Now, Blade Trinity, also objectively another bad movie. I've always had a special guilty love for Blade Trinity. I know, it's pretty bad. It's almost terrible at some points in the movie. But I saw that in theaters 3 times. I'm not proud to say that, but for some odd reason, I did. But I don't know. It kind of gave me like Batman vibes ever so slightly. But then again, it had the same producer as well. So yeah, what's your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie? Like, I'm kind of hard. It's kind of hard to like. Just Friends is fine. Just Friends is a fine little like romance guilty pleasure movie. It's a good little comedy movie. John, would you do a 24-hour live stream? But yeah, I would probably say Waiting might just be my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie, and it never occurred to me until now. Would I do a 24-hour live stream? Oh. The question is, would you watch a 24-hour live stream? I don't think most of you would. Now, what I could do a 24-hour live stream right now. So what happens is, in another 30 minutes when I'm done with this live stream, I just get up and leave. I don't stop playing. I get up and walk away. And then it just keeps playing. And then tomorrow, maybe I come in here and mess around on my computer, but I won't acknowledge the camera. I'll just sit here looking at my computer all stoic-like, and then I'll get up and leave again. And that'll be the 24-hour live stream. Would you guys watch that? Let me know. I can make that if you'd like. I can make it right now tonight. But then again, that's right. Okay, I'll give you some information about me. That's my favorite bathroom in our house, my office bathroom. That's where the magic happens. That's called my secondary flick cave. It's called the poop cave. And in said poop cave, that's where I keep all the That's where I keep all the supplies necessary. I have multiple packages of wet wipes. Toilet paper is plentiful. But most importantly, in the poop cave, I have my heater. Now, my best recommendation to you is to truly relax and to truly release. Always have a nice little space heater by. It warms up the room. It gives you a nice warm breeze. Ooh, I feel like I'm on a tropical beach somewhere. And nothing will relax you more than that. That's my guarantee to you, and that is my promise, and also my recommendation. So you guys would watch me go in and out of that a few times a day. I could just come out and go, hey guys, and then walk away. So yeah, maybe I'd just be in there for 45 minutes. But anyway, let's go to the next question here. Dustin Rich says, I saw Elektra in theaters twice. I'm not proud. We all have our guilty pleasures, man. We all have them. And the reason I saw Blade Trinity, Alan Smithy says, Blade Trinity three times in theaters. Some dudes always trying to ice skate uphill. It's true though, man. And the reason I did that is I think it came out during one of the dead zones of the year for cinema. And for some odd reason, there was like nothing else to watch. So I had like 3 different friends who wanted to go to the movie theater, and I had already seen it once, but they're like, hey, my other buddy was like, let's go see a movie. And I was like, let's go see Blade Trinity. And there's aspects about it that I sort of liked. I like vigilante movies. Even if they suck, I like vigilante movies. So, like Punisher with Tom Jane. Like, I don't think that's that good of a movie, but I watched that in theaters like 3 times. I don't think it's good by any means. I think it's kind of bad, but I still like it. John Travolta in that movie, just one of the worst villainous roles he's ever played. Room tour, 24-hour stream. You want a room tour? Here it is, man. There's one side, there's the other. There's your room tour. I can give you guys a room tour at some point. Maybe an updated room tour. But I'll tell you what I want to do this winter season, this December season. What I want to do is I do want to do an updated Blu-ray collection video update. I do want to do that again. I don't know. I just feel like we have to do that. It feels like we need to revisit physical media once again, okay? So we will probably do that. Now, when it comes to that, though, I'm debating if I want to do that during a live stream. I think that would be kind of interesting because that would be something different and interactive that we haven't done with a Blu-ray collection video. So you guys could chime in if you guys have comments. So I think that would be kind of cool. And then what I could do with that video is just then upload it as its own thing over on my main channel, The Flick Pick. Or maybe I'll do the live stream of it there on my main channel, The Flick Pick. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys are down with that. We could probably do something like that soon. Because to be honest with you, now until Avatar comes out, there really isn't much shit to talk about. Like, that's the next big movie coming out, and that's still 2.5 weeks away. So we could probably do that. Me to Johnny, like The Punisher, even as people say is bad, I love it. Yeah, it's fine. It's a guilty pleasure. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from... Zach Keel 7484 says, bought Nightcrawler 4K Steelbook on Groove. Yeah, you and me both, man. I bought it too. We talked about that earlier in the live stream. I talked about the atrocious artwork on said Steelbook. Now, I'll tell you, I have the... I'll grab it for you. I have the... it was a gift from Alex Leba, my pal from YouTube, Alex Leba. He gave me the Blu-ray Steelbook of it, and also... I got a VHS copy of Nightcrawler as well. Let me go grab those. I'll show them to you. Hang on. Okay. So, when it comes to Nightcrawler, I do own... I also own the original Blu-ray, but who cares about that? So here's the Mondo Steelbook release. Kind of cool. Comes with a slipcover on there. That actually kind of looks like a Nightcrawler Steelbook. But anyway, that's a really cool Blu-ray release. And then I also have this VHS copy of Nightcrawler, which was custom made by if you go to the Instagram account, Katie Video, she makes custom VHS tapes. Definitely check her out. Really nice. She sent me one of these because she knew it was my favorite movie. But anyway, the movie is actually on this VHS. So that's pretty cool. Now, I don't want to take it out of the plastic. Maybe one day I will. But also, I mean, just look at that VHS cover, man. Beautiful stuff. All right. Night King 01 back again says, John, I have sad news. Harry Uki Tagawa passed away today. Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, great character actor. Oh, really? Dude. Well, in memory of him, your soul is mine. Wow, Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat died? Yeah, here he is right here. Your brother's soul is mine. Man. Yeah, he was a great Shang Tsung, wasn't he? I thought he was phenomenal in the role. Man, how old was he? Let's see. How old was he? Actor died. Oh, man. So he died December 4th. He was 75 years old. Well, that's crazy. Well, yeah, he lived to be 75, you know? And he was a well-established actor, and he got to play Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movies, or at least the only good one that existed. So, rest in peace to him, man. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from JokerFace501, who says, John, do you like WWE Survivor Series War Games? I talked about that a few minutes ago, or probably 25 minutes ago at this point. I did not like it as much as I was hoping I would. You know, for a stadium show, for such a big event that you can do so much in, especially when it comes to the War Games dynamic, I thought it just felt really lackluster. And by the time the matches finally started, they were over in like 5 to 8 minutes. And it just felt so underwhelming to me. So as far as the entire show goes, it wasn't really memorable. Nothing really stood out. And I was sort of let down by it. And the last few WWE PLEs have sort of felt that way to me. So, yeah, I watched it. You know, I like the spectacle of it all. But, man, as far as the show goes, not really much to write home about. I thought the women's War Games match was better than the men's. But even this year, it was, like, weaker than the last year or two. So, yeah. I did watch it, though. All right, Clark1140 says, John, I lost a very good friend to cancer recently. Any thoughts, advice, experience with grieving? It feels like I'm in Hereditary or Midsummer. Yeah, man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. And that's one of those things where it's one of those things where you watch somebody get sick and you watch it happen, and it's the most depressing thing ever. And I've witnessed it. I've had family members, I've had friends. And I can't think of a worse way to go, to be honest with you. So sorry to hear that. And as far as grieving goes, you know, it's one of those things. Time heals all wounds, as people say. And as Morgan Freeman once said, you either get busy living or you get busy dying, you know. And I guess the best you can do is remember the good times and move on with life. You know, what would they want you to do? You know, beyond remember them, what else would they want you to do with your life? Do that. In honor of them. But, you know, it just takes time. So, I'll be honest with you. The older I get, the more I am afraid of death and my own immortality. It terrifies me. Everyone I know is getting older. I'm getting more gray hairs by the day. And it's one of those realities of life. Not to get super depressing, but it's one of those things that's just like as time keeps on ticking, the closer we finally get to the end. And now we're finally in the end game. And before I know it, I'm going to be 60 years old. And the question is, who am I going to be when I'm 60? Am I going to be young at heart still? Am I still going to be talking about movies on YouTube? Am I going to have hair? Will my hair be gray? I'm not quite sure. But, yeah, man, sorry to hear that. All right. I don't know how to segue from that, man. But we're going to try our best. And sorry to hear it once again, Clark. I really am, man. You know, the thing about tragedy in life, you can either use it to propel you and become stronger from it, or you can let it eat you away. And for me, every time I've experienced tragedy in life, I try to use it as like another plate of armor. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to carry that with me forever, but I'm going to armor myself up with it. You know, but really on the inside, I'm a big sensitive ball of goo, just waiting to cry when I watch Stand By Me. Okay, the next one comes from Gavin CMB. How's it going, Gavin? And thank you guys for the questions tonight and the super chats. Thank you guys so much. It really does help in this economy. It really does. Thank you guys so much. I assure you, when I say thank you, I truly mean that shit. Like, you guys with your super chats tonight, I'm sorry I ran out of party poppers. I will make it up to you on the next live stream, but these do help. They help pay the internet bill. They help go see movies. It really does help. So thank you guys. Okay, Gavin says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the found footage hangout/horror movie I made called No Clip. I filmed it at a local mall and the budget was $37. Oh shit, man. What's it called? No Clip? Let's if I can find something for it right now on YouTube, I'll look at it here. Let's see. Okay, I found a YouTube channel called No Clip Movie, but there's a reaction by Cool Duder talking about it, man, so I don't know. Here, I'll show this for you, buddy. How's this?
On forever? Where the hell do they even go? And what secrets did they hide? Let's be real, you and I both know they're keeping SCP experiments down there. 2 Kansas filmmakers are convinced there are backrooms hidden deep within the Crown Center Mall.
Is this the movie? Okay, so it's all about the back rooms of the mall. Interesting. So, interesting concept. So I used to work at the mall, and those back rooms and those hallways, after like 11 o'clock, half of those doors on the exit side of the mall or the exterior of the mall, half of those are unlocked. I'm going to be honest. Like, if you want to walk into the mall in those back hallways, most malls don't lock every exterior door. So I'm just putting that out there. Some do, some don't, but ours didn't. So you can walk around those hallways of the mall and you can get from one side to the other through those hallways. And they were always sort of creepy as shit to me. I worked at Hollister in the mall for like 3 months before I got fired. And why did I get fired? I don't know. Maybe I miscounted a lot of inventory, and by miscounted, I just made up numbers because I didn't want to count a whole box of t-shirts. Like, I didn't care. But anyway, is that I hope that's the movie, man. Interesting premise, especially for $37. Now, are you sure it was $37? Because Alan Smithy says, are you sure it wasn't $38 or maybe $39? There might be some disputes over the budget of this film. John, do you think food is too expensive? $18 just for a popcorn and drink. Absolutely, it's too expensive. And let me give you some of the best advice I will ever give you. If you don't have a wife or a girlfriend, get one. Or hear me out for a second, or become secure enough with your manhood to carry in a purse. Okay? Because that's how expensive shit's getting at the theater. Now, here's my best advice to you. What we do when we go to the theater, I go to like the store and I buy the bottles of soda. I buy a whole bunch of candy. I buy all that fun shit. And I take it home, and those are my supplies and snacks when we go to the theater. So we shove those into a huge movie theater bag that we have specifically for the movie theater experience. And then we have a movie theater blanket that we also put in there. So I rarely ever buy anything at the movie theater. But I will say this. I have the Regal Unlimited pass, and I pay $20 a month. And I definitely get use out of that. But the cool thing about that is, like, every month, just by going to see all those movies, I get enough free points to buy like free popcorn at the concession stand. Or I might spend like $1 for a large popcorn or something. So that is my best advice to you as well. Get the Regal Unlimited pass. You pay $20 a month. You can see as many movies as you want, but you also get points for concessions. And it's actually a pretty good deal when it comes to the drinks and the popcorn. Not so much the candy. So that's my advice to you. So yeah, I'm not paying $20 for a bucket of cold popcorn. No. Dustin Rich says, even if you look confident and act like you belong there, you can still walk in just about anywhere. Oh, trust me, I'm very, very aware of said things. You don't think I have a generic press pass with a lanyard that I take to special events and occasions just in case? Because I'll also tell you this. if you have a press pass and you turn it around backwards so you can't see like the logo, but the back just says like press pass and some other generic stuff with like a sticker on it, and you walk around with like a camera and you're vlogging yourself, you can walk past any security or any barricade you want. And I've done it multiple times in my life. I will just leave it right there. But yeah, if I go to like film festivals and stuff, yeah. I try to always go places I don't belong. I will say that. Yeah, a movie theater blanket. Yeah, we have a special movie theater blanket. It has popcorn and sodas on it, and we use it to cover ourselves at the movie theater to keep warm. It's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being snuggly and warm at the movie theater. Absolutely. You want my tootsies to get cold? Absolutely not. John, did you stand shirtless on Black Friday? I did not. But there was nothing to buy this Black Friday. Joker Face 501 says, "Oh my God, John, Shang MK 1995 actor just passed away." Yeah, that's unfortunate. We talked about that. Hopefully his soul is free to go where it wants, and he's no longer just capturing souls for his own selfish ways. But that's crazy, man. That dude was 75. And it's weird. You think back to like watching that movie. I think back to watching Mortal Kombat for the first time back in 1995, which when that movie came out, I was such a hardcore nerd for Mortal Kombat video games. To me, that was sort of like the Dark Knight of the time for my adolescence. I was like, oh shit, they're making a Mortal Kombat game? And I remember the only way you could get movie information at the time was like going to the grocery store, going into the magazine aisle, and there was multiple magazines dedicated to talking about movies. And I think one of those was called like, was it called Chaos? Was that one of the magazine titles? Anyway, in there's always articles about upcoming movies. And every time I'd go to the grocery store with my mom, I'd just go to the aisle and read magazines all the time about movies. And I remember for like a year straight, every time there was a Mortal Kombat article in a magazine, because keep in mind, we were poor. I didn't have any money as a kid. Those magazines cost like $6-7. I'm not proud to say this. Maybe it's shady and unethical, but I don't care because I had a love for cinema and I deem it right. Okay. I would tear out the pages of those articles that I cared about in the magazines. Then I would hide the magazine in the very back of all the other books. Or sometimes I'd just drop it behind the shelf and you'd never find it. And I'd put those articles in my pocket. And, I'm sorry. I needed to read those at home in the privacy of my home, not in the grocery store. And I would reread the same article like 5 or 6 times. So now we have Reddit forums and the internet. But yeah, the youth of today will just never know the struggles that people had to go through in the 90s. Good times. I know I told you that before. I'm sorry. I talk for 3 hours a week about movies. At some point, I'm probably going to repeat the same shit. Let's keep going. Gavin CMB once again says, "I recently sent a Blu-ray copy of No Clip to Cool Duder, and he really liked it. Let me know if you want a copy, and I'll send it to you." If I ever open up another P.O. box, man, maybe I will. Or if you can you send me a message on X? Maybe we can do that. You want to do that? Let me know. Send me a message on X. But thank you for the offer, man. I better have special features too. And once again, Gavin. And by the way, guys, check out No Clip Movie. You can watch it for free. You can stream it for free on Plex. So it's No Clip. Stream it right now on Plex. If you can rate it, give that shit a thumbs up. So thanks for the question. Thanks for the comments, Gavin. I hope I plugged your movie sufficiently. But it looks cool, man. It looks like a cool concept, especially for $37. And a pack of bubblegum. The Great Juan. How's it going, the Great Juanito? All right, here it goes. Hey, John. An AI-generated singer, Solomon Ray, is #1 on Christian music charts. Well, yeah, that would probably make sense for Christian music charts. I don't think the bar is too high. I mean, besides Creed, who else do you have? You know, that's interesting, and that's scary as well. Isn't that terrifying, but also interesting? Because when it comes to music and AI, I've heard some very, very well done AI generated songs. And sometimes they take different genres, different artists, and they blend them with another genre. And some of that shit sounds okay. But you give it another 3-5 years, at one point, it's going to be so easy that you're just, and maybe copyright will get in the way, but like imagine typing in like, give me a new Metallica song about Batman. And you get that, and it sounds good, and it's well done. Isn't that terrifying? I think we should outlaw AI right now. You got to ban it. We've gone too far. We have ChatGPT. It can correct all my incompetent grammar mistakes. That's all I need it for. We're done. Just stop it right now. But it's terrifying and interesting at the same time. Dustin Rich says, would you rather be able to fly or be able to turn invisible? Well, that's a great question, and that requires a lot of profound thought. So let me squint my eyes, maybe even close them and think about it for a moment as I take a sip of this delicious caffeinated beverage, which is still full. And that's a question I have for all of you right now. Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible? So I'm going to go with this. If I can fly, do I have like Superman flying abilities? Like faster than the speed of light? Like I can fly at supersonic speeds, high up into the heavens? I can do all those things? Or can I simply turn invisible? Now, being invisible would definitely have its advantages. You can go a lot of different places. Mostly when I think about superpowers, I think about how can I break the law to take money that isn't mine. That's typically where my brain goes. So I probably wouldn't be a superhero, I'd be a villain. But hear me out. I don't want to take your money. No. I want to take the money that billionaires have, like Jeff Bezos. I want to go into his house and like take his TV. Oh, this is mine. Bye. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about from the working man. No. So if I could be invisible, that would be interesting. There's a lot you could do with that. A lot of places you could go. But man, the ability to fly, to get anywhere you need to go at any time and just get out of any dangerous situation, I almost think being able to fly would come with more freedom and more flexibility. Because if you're ever stuck somewhere, you can get out of the situation, and also, if I really wanted to take Jeff Bezos' TV, I could just wear a ski mask, fly into his house or onto his billion-dollar yacht, take his shit, and fly away. So, I think I would go with flying. I'm going to go with flying. I'm going with flying. Plus, I've seen the movie Invisible Man starring Kevin Bacon, where he turns invisible and he can't turn back. And that, to me, is terrifying. Would I lose my sense of humanity and sanity? I don't know. I probably would. Have you seen the movie Bling Ring? I did watch that when it first came out, where the kids break into rich people's houses in LA or whatever. If you flew, you would get bugs in your teeth and hit in the face by birds. Oh, I'd wear like a mask or something, like a face mask. Have you seen those MJ AI covers? I have not. Are they any good? Let me know. Hey, John, do you have many Criterion releases in your collection? I probably only have a couple. I've never went out of my way to buy Criterion movies just because they're Criterion. It has to be a movie that I actually want to watch. And a lot of Criterion movies, you have to keep in mind, they typically go after the rights of movies that don't cost too much, typically speaking. So there's a lot of movies I don't necessarily want on Criterion. But then again, Armageddon is a Criterion movie. I know, it's crazy. So I don't think I own a ton of them. John, would you rather be Beavis or Butthead? Probably Butthead. Beavis has this really unsettling look about him, doesn't he? And also that SNL skit where Ryan Gosling plays Beavis was hilarious. I got to show you guys this. SNL Beavis Butthead. I mean, look at this. Just look at that. Look at Ryan Gosling right there as Beavis. Now, Butthead. I think I could make a pretty good Butthead, though. I could make a decent Butthead. John, what are your thoughts on Freaks and Geeks? I love me some Freaks and Geeks. I love it. Really good show. It kind of sucks that it only had like one season. That was sort of upsetting a little bit because I think it's one of those shows that was ahead of its time. And I think if it had been made at a later date when you had like a streaming service to put it on, I think it would have got more recognition. Maybe it came out in like what 1999, and you had the 70s show kind of coming out around the same time, and that's what people preferred. But I think Freaks and Geeks was a much better show, and I loved it. I did, and yeah, I just think it was ahead of its time. But a great cast, great show. Can't recommend it enough. If you want a great series to watch that has like a 1980s throwback that's actually funny and well made, and it was also produced by Judd Apatow. I think he wrote some of it or wrote it. Definitely check out Freaks and Geeks. Okay, the next one comes from Claudio Rogajan, who says, "Hey John, just wanted to say if you do watch The Killer soon, you'll probably have the same question I did when I first watched it, which is how did no one die during the production? They are shooting blanks way too close to people's bodies." Yeah, scary shit, huh, man? Especially with some of the stuff that have happened on movie sets in the last couple of years. I'm talking to you, Alec Baldwin. Yeah, that's insane. I definitely want to check it out, man. It sounds awesome. I love movies with blood squibs and blanks. Like, give me those practical effects any day. Okay. It sounds interesting. I'll watch Killer on Amazon Prime. Man, I only have 75 movies to watch this week. I'll try to start. We all know I'm going to just rewatch the same shit over and over again. Skylar Wheelock, back again. How's it going, man? You being a native Hoosier of Indiana and Stranger Things taking place in your state, the Duffer Brothers said they would have used Bedford as inspiration for Hawkins. Now, do you think any of the kids left Indiana? Maybe Steve is working at your local Mega Replay. Yeah, so I live in Indiana. Hawkins, Indiana was basically like north of Indianapolis somewhere. And I'm 2 hours north of Indianapolis. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It adds a little flavor to it, though, when I watch Stranger Things, knowing it takes place in Indiana. What would the Stranger Things kids be doing now in Indiana? I couldn't tell you. Maybe Dustin became, I don't know, like a lawyer, and Steve is now working at the local Amazon distribution facility. I don't know. And maybe Rockin' Robin's a radio DJ for our dying radio stations here in Indiana that play the same 5 rock songs on repeat. All right, let's go to the next one here. And that one comes from Alan Smithy, 9227, who says, "Hey, John, I recently found out this guy I work with, who I also butted heads with in the past, directed Nicole Kidman's AMC ad. I knew I disliked him." Interesting. Well, small world, man, and nothing gives me more nightmares than Nicole Kidman telling me to come to the movie theater with her face looking like this. Ugh. Just looks like she was stung by bees and stretched with duct tape. Good for her, though. Well, that's cool, man. Hey, I know a guy who directed a movie. It's called Shelby Oaks. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from JRM 2017, who says, "Which one you like, PlayStation or Xbox, and why?" That's a great question. So since 2006, I've always been an Xbox guy. All of my friends play Xbox. I just like the console more. I like the controllers more as well. They just feel better in your hands. I think Xbox has the superior controller by far. I really do. And when it comes to its games, I typically, every game that comes out to Xbox, I enjoy. Now, I know you have some PlayStation exclusives that have come out, but really, for the most part, those aren't games I necessarily have ever wanted to play or need to play. So I've always been an Xbox fan. And now I remember Xbox 360 when it started to get the red ring of death. And I still feel like Xbox should be sued into oblivion for that and have to repay everyone who had an Xbox that had the red ring of death, you bastards. But yeah, I was always more of an Xbox guy, man. I just was. Up until that point, though, I did have a PlayStation 2. And that was cool because that was like my first ever Blu-ray player, which was sweet. But beyond that, yeah, I always Xbox. Andy Kumar, 2817, says, someone in Indiana bought Hitler's toilet for $15,000. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I don't know. I really don't know how to comment on such things. Like, what do I say to that? I'm sorry. I live in Indiana. What can I say? All right. I was trying to think of a good joke, but I just couldn't come up with one. And I still can't. So I think it's best we just move on. But thank you for sharing that factoid. Night King 01 says, John, did you watch the new Netflix show while sitting on Hitler's toilet? I added that last part. No, I did not. But anyway, Death by Lightning? No, I didn't see the new Netflix show, Death by Lightning. I don't even know what that is. I know you like historical period pieces. 4 episodes about the assassination of James Garfield, played by Michael Shannon. Great show. Interesting. Okay. You say it's pretty good? So it's like a limited series? That sounds kind of cool. All right. What? Death by Lightning. All right. I'll try to remember that, man. I'll give it a whirl. I'll check it out on Netflix for an episode or so. Dang it, Bobby says, Fort Wayne has good food at Salsa Grill. I love me some Salsa Grill. I haven't been there in a while. I used to eat that shit on a weekly basis. They have a salsa bar at Salsa. Oh, just talking about it makes me want to go eat it. But anyway, they have a salsa bar at Salsa Grill where it had like 47 different sauces you could put on your burrito. They had like pineapple sauce, habanero sauce, like 4,000 other sauces. It was delicious. I love it. Salsa Grill. When I used to work out, Salsa Grill was the place I always went to after I worked out. I probably ate like 47 burritos a week. Dustin Rich says, you're keeping me from being productive, John. I hope you're proud of yourself. Well, I am proud of myself, Dustin. But the great thing about these live streams, you can just listen to them. Go do whatever you got to do, man. Just treat this shit as background noise. Or if you're trying to fall asleep, let my deep, bassy voice take you to dreamland. Or not. Whatever you want to do. Side Mike says, hey, John, sorry I'm late. Is it too late to send a Streamlabs in? It's never too late, man. Now is the time. If you have any questions, I will say this. Right now, if you have a question, if you've been waiting, get it in right now. Also, if you guys are just YouTube members and you want to put a comment in the normal chat, put those in right now. Because I will say this. Everything that you guys get submitted over the next 1 minute will be the final round of questions for this evening. Because we have been talking for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I'm running out of juice. So, but don't worry. Don't worry. When I say that, that typically means I have another 45 minutes. So we're not going anywhere anytime soon. Peacock Sucker Punch says, hi, biggest crush on a movie character or actress? Man, that has changed so much throughout the years. You know, as a kid, I had a thing for Sharon Stone. I also had a thing for Jennifer Connelly, especially when I was a young kid, and watching her in The Labyrinth as like a babysitter of the little baby named Toby. I was like, oh, I wish he was my babysitter. And I wish I got kidnapped by David Bowie so she could come save me. And I still do. But, you know, in my younger years, I definitely had a thing for Sharon Stone. And when I saw her in movies like Basic Instinct or Total Recall, I was like, yeah, Sharon Stone. Also, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman in the 1992 Batman Returns movie. I think we all need to take a look at this. I mean, come on. Even when she's all crazy looking right here. Let me type this in. Bird. When she put the bird in her mouth. It's like, anyway. I don't taint it. Don't taint it with Danny DeVito. Anyway, so those are a few. Side Mike says, wasn't it crazy how you just mentioned The Wiz a few live streams ago and they mentioned it on an episode of one of Stranger Things? Haha. Did they? I don't remember that. Which episode did they mention The Wiz in? I'm trying to remember that. It's hard for me to remember the first 4 episodes of Stranger Things because so much shit happened in those first 4 episodes. And I've been telling my wife we need to go back and watch them again, and we definitely will. But I don't what part was that? Dustin Rich says, I have fallen asleep while listening to you, John. You could say we've slept together. Don't make it weird, and I won't make it weird. Ever. Ever. If you don't tell, I won't tell. Shh. Shh. Okay. It's just a bad dream. Go back to bed. All right, let's keep going. And the next one comes from Asher56, who says, Stuckman all credibility for mediocre movie. Yeah, film is very subjective, you know. It definitely. Here's my thing with Shelby Oaks. I put out a review for it. We've talked about it quite a bit. I just saw EFAP put out a video where they referenced my video. I just saw it today in my recommended channel thing, and they were talking about my video and talking about some of the bullet points I talked about in my video. But the thing about EFAP, what they do is like they never truly watch the whole video. So everything that they comment on, like the one sentence of your video that they stop and talk about, where everyone in the room is interjecting because everyone wants to say something, just to say something, is they completely always miss the nuance of what you're saying because they don't listen to the entire video. It's just like some of the things they're commenting on for 5 minutes. It's like, yeah, but I explained that 2 minutes later. So you missed it. Anyway. So yeah, you know, his movie wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be. And when I watched it, I just thought to myself I just thought like, you had everything you needed, and this is like what you wanted to say. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I thought you had something. I thought you would do something a little more there. I really did. But anyway, thoughts on Euro Trip. Never loved Euro Trip. I always liked Road Trip much more. Side Mike says, what's up with Dan Gilroy and his lackluster movies outside of Nightcrawler? Tried watching Velvet Buzzsaw and couldn't finish it. Same. Now, I was a fan of Dan Gilroy instantly after watching Nightcrawler. And since then, I don't know if he sold his soul to the devil to be able to get the talent and wherewithal to make and write something as good as Nightcrawler. But it's like that it kind of feels like he's a one-hit wonder at this point. It really does. Now, I don't know why his later movies didn't quite get there, and it just feels like they weren't even written or made by the same guy. And I agree with you. When Velvet Buzzsaw was coming out, I was really looking forward to it. And I was like, what is this? What is this junk? So anyway, man, yeah, I agree. Hopefully he's not a one-hit wonder and he makes something else great. I say, just make another Nightcrawler, man. Dan Gilroy's married to Renee Russo. I know. That's why she was in the movie. Okay, the next one comes from Rafa Bartowski, who says, I just bought the Nightcrawler VHS. Thanks for these recommendations. Well, that's cool, man. Did you buy it from Katie Video? Let her know you did. Just let her know I sent you her way. You know? But yeah, is this the one you bought? Pretty sweet, isn't it? Well, awesome. I hope you enjoy it. I put it back. I put it right there. Wait, I put it. Why is this so hard to point to? I put it right there on the shelf. That's where my Nightcrawler VHS copy goes. Side Mike says, Nightcrawler was truly lightning in a bottle. It truly was. It was like the perfect movie. And I feel like it was like underappreciated when it came out. Like if Nightcrawler came out now, it would be like the best movie of the year. Like it got no love when it came out in 2014. Nightcrawler versus Drive, make it happen. I think that could exist in a multiverse. Thanks for the question, though. All right. The next one comes from Django Fett 710, who says, have you seen The Dark Knight Returns, John? I have seen The Dark Knight Returns. I had the Blu-ray of it for a very long time. I did like it. I think it's a cool story. And I know Zack Snyder tried to sort of tread that story in Batman v Superman, except he bastardized it and ruined it in every way that he possibly could. But I think if he just made a live-action adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns, I think it would be brilliant. It would be phenomenal. That's the kind of Batman movie I would like to see. But we have the animated movie, and I liked it. Yeah. The Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2? Absolutely. Okay. Peacock Sucker Punch says, which disease would you eradicate, John? AIDS? AIDS for gays? Which disease? If I could eradicate one thing, probably cancer, man. You can't control it. It happens to the best of the best, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing, probably, I would eradicate all cancers. And the scary thing about cancer is, like, the longer you live, the more statistically inclined you're going to get it. At some point, every human being will eventually develop it somehow, some way. Some people just don't get to the point where they live long enough to get it. But if you live to be like 200 years old, the odds statistically that you're going to get it are almost at like 100%. That's the scary thing about that shit. And everything causes cancer. Everything. So probably that. It's a weird question, but I'll answer it. So there you go. There's your answer. I'd probably get rid of cancer. All right. Andy Kumar says, thoughts on Indian food? I like chicken masala. I've eaten Indian food probably a handful of times in my life. Spicy, it's good. Curry's really good. Spicy shit, man. I like it. You know, I don't really go out of my way for it, but the few times I've had it, I thought it was good. I'm not a connoisseur of Indian food, so outside of like having spicy curry, I really don't have any other talking points on the topic. Thanks for this Thursday night live stream, John. You're getting me through this work shift. How about a John Connor impression? Well, I was thinking John Connor. Or that's Dan Connor from Roseanne. So good thing I didn't do that impression. John Connor impression. Here it goes. 3, 2, 1, and scene. Promise me you're not going to kill anyone. Let's go! Easy money. Screw off, you jack douchebag. How's Woofy? I can hear him barking. Was that fulfilling? All right, let's keep going. And the next one comes from Claudia Rogajan once again. The killer probably has the best ending shootout in any movie and uses a ridiculous amount of blinks. Also, all the bad guys are wearing white, so you can see all the blood in its glory. Prime also has City on Fire, the film Reservoir Dogs, ripped off. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I never watched City on Fire, though. But I remember, like, reading about it one day and looking at the comparisons that Tarantino borrowed from the movie, and he borrowed a lot of shit. But also, yeah, the killer sounds cool, man. And I like that all the henchmen are wearing white so you can see the blood squibs go off. All right. John, have you ever been to Evansville, Indiana? I don't think so. I know it's southwest of Indianapolis, like an hour and a half away, but I don't think I've been there, no. Is that Evansville? I think it is. Okay. Did you just say that? Man, what? Just say what? Let me know. Okay, Side Mike says, my dad was in the Marines and met Tom Cruise on the beach in the early mid 80s when he was just getting started. He got to hang out and swim and chill with a guy. What? Where's this going? What did your dad do in the 80s? He had a great time, though. I thought I'd share. My dad was in the Marines and met Tom Cruise on the beach in the early 80s when he was just getting started. Oh, that's cool. He met Tom Cruise on the beach. See, when you say Tom Cruise on the beach in the mid 1980s, I close my eyes and I envision the volleyball scene from Top Gun. And I imagine your dad covered in baby oil playing volleyball with Tom Cruise. That's what I envision. And don't ever correct me if I'm wrong about that vision. Your impressions are so bad, they're good. Thanks, John. I think my John Connor impression's pretty spot on, man. Nevermind Gaming says, have you seen the movie Assault on Precinct 13? It has that one scene where the gangster shoots a girl over an ice cream. So when it comes to the original, I think I watched it like one time. I don't remember anything about it. But then they had the remake of Assault on Precinct 13, which kind of sucked. And I remember that one much more. I don't remember that scene, though. I really don't remember either movie, to be honest. But I don't remember that scene. Evansville is on the Ohio River. Okay. So I was wrong. Evansville. I don't think I've been to Evansville. Maybe I have. Maybe I've been there. I don't know. Let me look at it. Evansville, Indiana. I just live here. I don't know where anything is. Could Google Maps take any longer to load this? Oh my God. Oh yeah, you're way down there. You're southwest. Yeah, it's southwest Indiana. It's exactly what I said. Yeah. Yes, I've never been there. It's always like out of the way of where I'm going. So yes, I've never been there. Maybe one day. Okay, the next one comes from Night King 01, who says, forgot to mention Nick Offerman is in Death by Lightning playing Chester and A. Arthur. He steals every scene. Matthew McFadden from Succession and Deadpool and Wolverine plays the assassin Charles Gutierrez. It was number 1 on Netflix until Stranger Things Season 5. Death by Lightning. Okay, let me look this up. Okay, here it is right here. Here's Death by Lightning. God, no one is talking about this. So I guess Stranger Things overshadowed it. It's got a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.7 out of 10. Okay, it looks cool. What is the premise here? Presenting the story of James Garfield, who rose from obscurity to become America's 20th president, and Charles Gautier, the man who assassinated him. Okay. I'm not very familiar with that story, but it sounds intriguing. I will check this out. Thank you for the recommendation, Night King 01 and Claudia Roguejohn. Or just Night King 01. All right. Thoughts on Tarantino bashing Paul Dano in There Will Be Blood. Okay, let's talk about this. So on X, I saw an article that Tarantino basically said Paul Dano is too soft of an actor to be cast along Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. He just doesn't like him as an actor. He doesn't think his screen presence is quite there, and he doesn't really feel like he could keep up with Daniel Day-Lewis. Bastard in a basket. I drink it up. Come on now, my good boy Eli. Let me hear you say it. Let me hear you say you're a false prophet. I love the movie. Now, I thought Paul Dano in There Will Be Blood was actually pretty well cast, because when it comes to his character, he's supposed to be this sort of false prophet. He's sort of supposed to be this piece of shit. And I got that vibe from Paul Dano. So saying he's a soft actor in that role, I think he was very well cast for such a role. And I think Tarantino said the person that he would have cast in the role would be Austin Butler. Now, I love me some Tarantino. I love Tarantino movies. And I think most of the time, Tarantino is pretty spot on with his casting choices. But to say you'd replace Paul Dano with Austin Butler in There Will Be Blood, first and foremost, at the time There Will Be Blood was made, I think Austin Butler would be like 14 years old. But besides the point, I think Austin Butler, I don't think he's that talented. He kind of gives me Machine Gun Kelly vibes when I look at him for too long. And now I know some people like his performances as Elvis. I thought he was fine in Dune too. I thought that was like the best role he's ever been in. But I just don't know if I would replace Paul Dano with Austin Butler in anything. I just don't see it. So, interesting comment to say the least. But I don't know if I would agree with it. Now, no. Now, if you're talking about Paul Dano in Batman, that's a different story. I was not a big fan of his interpretation of the Riddler. And when he started singing Santa Maria in the interrogation cell or the visiting room cell when he was looking at Batman with that stupid collar around his neck that just made him look dumb, it's like, just take it off. That is the point in that movie where I literally skip the scene. I skip like 30 seconds of that scene every time. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. So do I think he was sort of miscast as the Riddler in Batman? Yes and no. It definitely looks like the reason he got that gig was because of his role in Prisoners, where he plays this weird recluse on the spectrum character. I'll never tell. I think that's why he got the role. But I don't know if he was the perfect choice to play the Riddler. Dustin Rich says, I hated Paul Dano's version of the Riddler. I think the Batman looks great, but I find so much of it frustrating. Yeah, the Riddler aspect of it was sort of the weak link. And then he gets on his live stream for terrorists, and he's like, hey guys, thanks for the insight how to build a bomb. Next week, I'm going to talk about ammo, so send your super chats in, and we'll talk about how to kill the Batman. Until then, bye-bye. Yeah, terrible shit. All right, Fidel, how's it going, Fidel? Who says, John, do you like Huey Lewis in the News? I do, but I find their much earlier work much more inspirational while having so much more to say. It's much more profound. I can't remember the quotes, but yes, I actually do like Huey Lewis in the News, and I did in fact play Huey Lewis in the News at my wedding, because that's how much I like American Psycho. Hey, Paul! All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Peacock Sucker Punch, who says, do you relate to Jordan Shalinsky and Larry David? Not really, no. But I like Larry David. I think he's brilliant in some sense, making humor and sitcoms or series about the everyday blandness of life, which I think is brilliant. That's the kind of stuff I like. So, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld, I love that shit. I have been meaning to go back and revisit Curb Your Enthusiasm, but every once in a while, when I'm like on the couch and I just want mind-numbing entertainment, I watch Seinfeld. I watch like 2 episodes of Seinfeld. And you know the thing about Seinfeld is, I find all the leads completely insufferable. I really do. Jerry Seinfeld, piece of shit. Elaine, selfish as shit. Kramer, annoying as shit. George Costanza, neurotic, annoying piece of shit. They're all pieces of shit characters. They really are. They're not that likable. They're just not. Has anyone else ever noticed this? It's a show about unlikable people. George, you don't just look at it, you gotta eat it. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from InHomes25. John, pardon me if this was mentioned in the past, but is it possible that the infamous M is your mother? Probably not. And I hope it isn't, because if my mom was going to be that gracious with super chats, I would hope that she would just give me the cash in person rather than giving it to me in a super chat where YouTube takes 30% of it. Yeah, YouTube takes 30% of all these super chats. So that's why you want to use the link down below to Streamlabs. But anyway, I don't think it is. I think it was Macaulay Culkin. I really do. But I do have there is another very popular person who makes YouTube content that watches my channel and follows me. And I don't know if it's like a fake account that they have. I don't know. I wish they would tell me. Like, I would keep it a secret. I would just like to say thanks, for being a supporter for so long. But anyway, I don't know who it is. I'm going to say it's Macaulay Culkin. Pretty much, but George is such an idiot and shallow over any woman. It's like he wants someone, but he doesn't. Yeah, that was the hardest thing that was the hardest pill to swallow when it comes to Seinfeld. George Costanza was always going on dates with these like beautiful women, and it's just like, no. All right. Caleb back again, and thank you for the very generous super chat, Caleb. I don't have any party poppers. I'm sorry, but I will put both these party poppers in my ears just for you. Here we go. John, I'm going to listen to this live stream tomorrow morning while I'm up early working. Have a great night, everyone. Well, thanks, Caleb. Sleep tight, man, and I hope to see you tomorrow morning, and please finish the live stream then. As always, thank you, Caleb. And these 2 party poppers blocking my ear canals are just for you. That ear has always been tighter. My left ear has always been tighter. That thing is not. Let's get it out of there. All right. Those are my new earbuds. They cost $395 from Apple. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And by the way, Caleb, once again, thanks, man. Thanks for hanging out. Uranium Cranium says, how much does YouTube take from a monthly member fees? I don't know how much they take from monthly member fees. I don't think much. I think they basically just take a large cut. Actually, they do. I think they do take a portion of the member fees. Maybe they take 30% of that as well. They might. They might take 30% of that or some cut of member fees. I'm not sure, but I know they take 30% of all the super chats, which is like, it's like, that's just too much. 10% by all means, please. But like 30%? I don't know, Google, you greedy sons of bitches. M is a female member. M is a female remember. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not quite sure who M is. M, if you're here watching, please let me know. I have a couple other theories who it could be, but I just don't think it is, based on some of the comments that they've left. So I'm not sure. John, do you ever listen to Jim Cornette? All the time, man. I love me some Jim Cornette. I love him. I love that man's tangents when he just rants about everything. Now, if you don't know who Jim Cornette is, he's a wrestling commentator who used to work in wrestling and has a lot of viewpoints and does a podcast where he talks about wrestling and modern day wrestling. And he doesn't hold anything back. He is very unadulterated, and I appreciate that. I hate when companies take half. Yeah, me too. M was James Bond's boss. Yes, I know. But who is the real M? All right, we got one here from Night King 01, and I'm probably going to answer one or two more questions. So please don't submit any more questions starting now. No more questions. Okay? Because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. So here it is. I'll answer a few more, though. Night King 01 back again says, since we're on the topic of John Woo, Night King, you're always on the topic of John Woo. I think every week we are on the topic of John Woo together. But here it goes. Death by Lightning was... I'm sorry. Since we're on the topic of John Woo, he's re-teaming with Nicolas Cage to direct a movie about the Gambino crime family. I feel like John Woo has come full circle back to gangster films. Maybe this film will be subdued, but it has Nicolas Cage, so maybe not. I don't think it'll be subdued at all. But also, it's interesting that he's directing an Italian mob movie. I don't know, like John Woo's style doesn't quite... When I think of like Italian mob movie, I don't think John Woo. But then again, I guess you could have, yeah. Okay, interesting. The fact that Nicolas Cage is in it, is Nicolas Cage playing like an Italian, or is he playing like another character? That's really interesting. Okay. Keep me updated on that. That's a movie I like to watch. All right, Night King 01 back again says, Death by Lightning was most definitely overshadowed by Stranger Things. It rose to number 1 on the site, and then Stranger Things just took it out. Well, obviously. Well, terrible timing, man. They should have waited like a week after Stranger Things came out when there's nothing new on Netflix. Wouldn't that have made more sense? Anyway, things just... if we're going on which had the better 4 episodes, Death by Lightning takes it. It doesn't waste your time. So you're saying Death by Lightning's first 4 episodes, or 4 episodes altogether, are better than the first 4 Stranger Things episodes. Okay. I'll check out the series, man. I'm going to check it out. First you had my attention. Now you have my curiosity. Or vice versa. I think curiosity is more important than attention. Anyway. John, do you like Dr. Pepper Zero? Absolutely, man. If I could put it into a dirty needle and inject it in my veins, I would. I have a whole fridge full of Dr. Pepper Zero. And also, to add on to that, the only dark soda I like that doesn't taste like battery acid is Dr. Pepper Zero. I love it. Now, a lot of people in foreign countries, like in the UK, when you tell them about Dr. Pepper or they try it, they think it's atrocious. They think it's disgusting. They're like, it tastes like cough medicine. I'm like, but that's what I like about it. It's medicine for my soul. Dustin Rich says, was Mission Impossible 2 a comedy? I don't know what it was. It was definitely a product of the early 2000s. With a lot of slow-mo, white doves flying around. It wasn't a very good movie. That's what it was. Thoughts on Tesla cars? Battery-powered cars just do not ever seem that convenient to me, unfortunately. But I'd like to test drive a Tesla or drive one. I just think there would be something so interesting about driving a car that drives itself. I know they have great acceleration. There's a lot of cool things about them, but as far as like a battery-powered car, I don't know, man. I don't think we're close to getting there. And as far as like it being like the green option, the amount of fuel and energy and fossil fuels that it takes to produce a Tesla and the batteries that go in it to mine for those, it's sort of counterproductive to say that it's like the green option because I just don't think we're quite there yet with it. And to charge them, well, what do you think charging stations run off of? They don't run off of more batteries, I can tell you that. At the source of that is coal and fossil fuels. So anyway, I would like to drive one, just out of convenience, but I don't know if I'd like to own one. Plus, I've heard their build quality is sort of shitty. Pepsi Zero is delicious. Every once in a while, I enjoy a Pepsi over a Coke. I do. It has more of a lemony lime citrus flavor backing it up. It's definitely the better drink to drink in the summertime. But there's nothing better than a Coke that's diluted by ice cubes. 3 ice cubes, no more, no less. But when it comes to Coke, put 10 ice cubes in that bitch. And I'll tell you what, Coke is so acidic that it could literally clean like rust off of a chrome bumper. But when it comes to Coke, I think it tastes better when it's watered down. I really do. And Coke and popcorn, oh, nothing goes better. Except for Dr. Pepper Zero. Side Mike says, I test drove a Tesla last year and now I have one. It was addicted. Which state do you live in? Because I feel like if you have cold weather, it's not very convenient. Your Uranium Cranium says Teslas are too damn expensive. Everything's too dude. A gallon of milk is too expensive. Okay. However, Side Mike says, however, it does kind of suck when traveling, because you mostly are staying home. It's super convenient things. Yeah, I guess if you're just around town with a Tesla, it's convenient. Okay, here's one more question from Peacock Sucker Punch, who says, thoughts on NBC's Peacock and the movie Sucker Punch? Well, I guess the name really solidified the question. I have Peacock. I like Peacock. I love the cock. And I really enjoyed it when WWE had all their premium live events on there. I don't watch a lot of movies on there because they have ads, and that's really annoying. But it's okay. And as far as the movie Sucker Punch goes, I watched that movie like once. I tried to watch it twice. And once again, it's sort of one of those Zack Snyder movies where you have the visuals and the style over substance. So not a huge fan of Sucker Punch. But when the movie came out, I thought the character Baby Doll was like, I was like, oh, she's kind of cute or whatever. But man, that movie sort of sucked. It just felt like a movie of people in front of a green screen. And I really vaguely don't remember anything else about it. That's it. Can we move on now? Uranium Cranium says, buy a 1969 Dodge Dart with a slant 6 and 3 on the tree. I'll do that, man. And it's carbureted, so I got to push the gas every time I start that shit up. And no power steering either. Listen, I drive a Mazda CX-30. That's where I'm at in my life, okay? The Burbs TV show is coming out on Peacock next year. Yeah, do you think that's going to be any good, though? Like, do you really see that going beyond one season? Well, my neighbors are kooky and they might have dead bodies in the basement. How many seasons can we drag this out to? John, have you seen Dangerous Animals? It's about Jai Courtney feeding girls to sharks. Oh, I loved Dangerous Animals. I thought that was like one of the most underrated movies of the year. I thought Dangerous Animals was a good time. And that was leaps and bounds above like a Shudder movie, which it was. So I quite enjoyed it. If you guys haven't watched Dangerous Animals and you like sharks and crazy shit, and you want to see like probably one of the best performances from Jai Courtney besides playing Captain Boomerang, it's definitely Dangerous Animals. I had a good time with it. John, are you planning on traveling the world or anything like that? You know, maybe if I was rich and wealthy, there's a few places I'd like to go. Like, I'd like to go to the Roman Colosseum at some point. I just think that'd be really cool to experience. My wife has been there. You know, she says it's really cool, but I like ancient travel destinations. Like, I would like to see the pyramids or ancient Rome and things like that. Or, you know, take me to the Bahamas and put me on a beach, you know, and let me sip I don't know, something out of a large coconut. But yeah, at some point. Oh, there's a Sucker Punch show? I don't know anything about it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the live show right there. But I do want to say, guys, thank you for all the great questions tonight. This was a very impromptu Thursday night show, and I'm glad you guys joined me. And if you guys missed the first topic because I was so stupid, I left the live stream on unlisted before making it live. So I had like 6 people in here watching me for 10 minutes, but nevertheless, it was a good time. But we did talk about Avatar Fire and Ash, some of the first reactions for that movie early on in the live show. Dustin Rich, that's hilarious that Zack Snyder said he wasn't objectifying females with Sucker Punch. Well, he lied. What else was he doing? I guess he was empowering them in a way. I guess, by wearing little short schoolgirl outfits and dresses, but they were using machine guns, so there's that. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. As always, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the questions tonight. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the live stream, or even if you didn't, how about you just lie and give it a like anyway? As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. That way I can see you next time. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys next week with a brand new live show. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Have a good night, everybody.